Alright, Chad, I'm going to be 100% honest with you on this podcast, at least for the visual purposes. I have no idea what happened to my chat box or how it's working, so if you've seen it all over the place, I apologize. I, at some point, must have messed with something. So that's fun. I'm going to go ahead and just hide the chat box there, but we're going to go ahead and take the... Oh, where am I going, Cotton Eye Joe? There we go. Go ahead and put the title there. There we go. There was some kind of misunderstanding with my layout at some point, but that's okay. You'll do your best too. Sounds good, friends. All of them. It's all good, bud. Thank you so much, Spark. Welcome on in. It's good to see you. How you doing today? It's good to see you. Always thinking about you every now and then, you know. I'll be at work and I'm just like, I wonder what Mr. Spark's up to. Ba-ba. Yeah, welcome on in, everybody. We're getting ready to do episode 3 of Broadcast64, my podcast series that I do every now and then. This is still something I'm very passionate about and I want to do every now and then. I've been busy and all over the place. I haven't been able to quite do the episodes as frequently as I would like. That being said, I would at least like to stick to one a month if I can absolutely help it. It may have been maybe a month and a half or so since I've done another one, but that is okay. We're here with episode 3, and today's topic is what's it like to be a VTuber? So it's weird because I've called episode 3, but it's also part 1. So episode 4 isn't going to be part 2, or it could be part 2, who knows? But I want to do more of these in the future by bringing in at least 1 or 2 people for each what's it like to be a VTuber episodes. So part 2, part 3, part 4 will just be like more guests, more people who have like VTuber experience, etc. So if anybody's curious as to like how I'm going to go about that, it's pretty much I'm just going to pull in like a person or 2 each time, probably 2 at a time if I can help it. And yeah, I'll just kind of go through like their VTuber history, ask some, you know, familiar questions from each episode, but maybe even throw in like some curveballs and some different ones to spice things up every now and then. But I'm very excited for today's episode. We have the lovely Sam Gamer 101 and BoltsTheMechanic with me today. Very good friend with Sam, but I am going to be socializing and talking with Bolts for the first time. We've been kind of talking here and there in DMs every now and then, and I've appeared in the chat of Bolts' streams every now and then and kind of just chiming in. But Bolts is a really cool VTuber, very cool content creator, very big fan of Ratchet & Clank. Say less, right? Because I'm a big fan of that franchise myself. Maybe not as big as him, but I'm definitely a fan of the franchise. And I'm very excited to meet him properly today. And kind of just go over, like, you know, what's it like to be a VTuber, the good, the bad, you know, just experiences. You know, I have a whole bunch of, I have like a good almost dozen questions here for both of them tonight. And hopefully you can even get something out of this particular podcast episode. And these episodes are available on my YouTube channel not too long after they are done on Twitch. So if anybody misses out on the podcast or wants to listen to the full shebang and they might have like missed out on tonight's session, that is okay. Feel free to check out my YouTube channel. And yeah, the VOD will be up not too long from now. I'll go ahead and put that down below. But if anybody in YouTube land is finding this VOD when this is out, feel free to check out my Twitch channel at Zach and Zonic. I stream over there fairly frequently, and we do these podcast episodes live every now and then. So feel free to check out my Twitch channel and yeah, follow up over there. Would love to have you. We have a super fun time on my Twitch channel, so more so covering the ground on both ends. But yes. Other than that, I think we're getting ready to gear up here and start off the episode. So sit back, relax. I'm going to bring you guys into the live page here in just a minute. And yeah, we'll introduce Sam Gamer 101 and BoltsTheMechanic. All right. I believe we are ready to start our episode 3. Let's go ahead and pop us on over to the live page. I'm going to go ahead and undeafen, and we're going to bring in Sam Gamer 101 and BoltsTheMechanic. I'm going to go ahead and swap up songs as well. There we go. I believe we're all a bunch of Sonic fans here for this particular episode, so we definitely got to play some Sonic tunes. Let's go ahead and swap over to some Sonic tunes. I'm also going to make sure I've got a full visual here. There we go. All right. I'm going to go ahead and undeafen and bring them on over. Let's go ahead and say hello, everybody.
Started in Japan, and it's very like some of the first
Why,
industries
hello
that started
there.
up were very hello.
Hello. Welcome on in. I'm so sorry I didn't mean to like cut in.
No, it's okay. We were having. Trust me, we were not talking about anything happy.
Oh, absolutely. It was all. It was whatever you guys were talking about. I believe you. It has to be terrible. It's got to be awful.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We were just talking a little bit about the state of the industry and
okay, so that'll be a very interesting way to start off the podcast because I gotta say this. I certainly picked an interesting time to bring up tonight's subject. I had this planned for like maybe a week, right? So I don't know if you guys are down for it. I have questions here that I want to ask both of you because that's going to be the general rundown. But I ain't gonna lie, I kind of want to dip into a little bit of that because it's certainly a bit of an uproar right now in the community. So I don't know.
Ask me anything. I'm gaping with knowledge.
No, that's fair because like I felt like with like everything that's been going on in the VTuber field, like even if you guys didn't speak about it, I knew somebody's gonna show up and be like, "Yo, did you hear? Like it's everywhere. It's everywhere."
Did you hear the word?
Yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible to dodge it. So I'm kind of in the field of like I'm not against talking about it. So we might talk about
it.
I
was going to talk about it on my stream tomorrow. So it's like
I think I saw your post on that. Yeah,
because it's a lot.
It is. It's oh my god, it's a lot to unpack. In all honesty, it's kind of bananas. Man, I don't know what happened to my chat box. I came back to this layout. I have like several layouts for different streams, and for some reason my chat box went long ways, not sideways. I'm like, what is going on?
It likes me.
It does. It does. It wants to be all over you.
It was so bad.
It wants to be all over you.
It tickles my face.
Bad. Chat, you behave.
It's because I stripped, isn't it?
Absolutely. All right, but we're gonna say some.
We don't do that for free on here.
We're gonna say some hellos in chat. So we have.
Well, I can't do it for cost on the other site anymore. Apparently.
That's true.
Oh my god. All right, we got 20 bucks. Mario Sonic Prime. We got $20. We got Adara. Adara's already probably pieced out to go play some DBD as you do. We got Sparkstar. We love Sparkstar. Shout out to Sparkstar.
Hey Spark.
We got Nobdes. We got Leo. They said awesome model. I'm assuming they're familiar with me and Sam, so they might be referring to Bolts if I had to take a guess. But yeah, no, Bolts has an amazing model.
Thank you.
I am jealous, but you didn't hear that from me.
We've got Evil Conquer. Look at this trio of cool people. Yes, boo. Man, so many emotions suddenly. All right. Well, in all honesty, I'm going to have to swing. I'm not going to be able to fix the chat because I'm sure it's going to be a Stream Elements thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get rid of the chat box, and we're just going to have Bolts.
Probably just layer it behind me.
I was going to make the joke like we're going to have Bolts. We're going to have Bolts carry the chat
got this,
on their head.
On my boobs.
On your boob.
On the boobs.
All right. Actually, yeah, we'll probably.
Hey, I paid a lot of good money for these boobs.
Yeah, well, let's get your money's worth, right? VTuber's expensive, which that'll be a topic we talk about also tonight because I'm gonna bring up how expensive it is to be a VTuber. So that's one of my questions, but not that we're gonna get into specific numbers. We're just gonna talk about like a whole bunch of VTubing questions, right? So that'll be fun. All right, we got the chat behind you, looking lovely in the city background. Awesome. All right. So let's see here. I'm going to pull up my chat. Got this and that. All right, cool. I'm a pro chat. I'm so fast with how I do things. We are blocked a little bit. That'll be okay, though, because most of my streams I tend to have a little bit of the chat blocked off in the background. But yeah, let's see here. Hope everyone's having a lovely day today. Welcome to episode 3 of Broadcast64, where we kind of tackle just a little bit of anything, really. My first 2 Broadcast64 episodes I had were very Nintendo-based, and I was like, all right, Zach, when we're going into this episode 3, we got to do something that's not, just being a Nintendo Switch fan. The Switch 2 was coming out, right? When I started off my podcast, I was like, let's dive into, like, the recent Switch 2 stuff and whatnot. But now that that's came and went, like, oh, okay, let's do something different. I wanted to really talk about VTubing. I want to hear people's experiences and what they've gone through and just really dissect what's it like to be a VTuber. I've been very fascinated about that subject for a while now, and I've kind of had my own experiences here and there, and I really wanted to pull in some people for this kind of thing going forward. Just, I want to do a couple of these going forward. And for the first take on this. We've got the lovely Sam Gamer 101 and BoltsTheMechanic here to give us a little bit of insight as to what it's like to be a VTuber. So yeah, welcome on in, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to plug in your channels or what you're about, feel free to. I don't know if either one of you want a particular order today for when we ask questions. So do either of you want to go first or second, or how do you want to go about that? Coin flip? I got a coin. I got a Kremlin coin.
I'll go second.
You'll go second?
You'll go second?
Okay.
Best, you're putting pressure on me.
So Sam, you got to answer every question immediately within 1 second, or you're fired.
Dang it! Damn! All right, I got this.
And then Bolts is promoted immediately if you fail.
No, that just means like you're gonna set the bar.
Yeah, you have to set the bar.
Bestie, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna set it extremely low. So I got you. Don't worry.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, welcome on in. We got Aaron. Welcome on in. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah,
hey, Aaron.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and talk about what you're about, what you like streaming, you know, who are you as a VTuber? What do you like doing?
Yeah, so I'll introduce myself. But hello, my name is Sam. My full name is Sam Gamer 1 on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, wherever you'll find me. But I am a hedgehog VTuber who does a lot of spooky, scary games. So I mainly focus on horror games and horror content with a little bit of cozy, because I don't mind branching out. But I'm a sucker for the horror games. But recently we've been getting into making like short form content and doing some recordings for YouTube. So I've been very slowly branching out and not putting all my eggs in one basket when it comes to Twitch. But yeah, so that is me. Hello.
Heck yeah. I know a lot of people in my end are very familiar with Sam, so most of you are probably already following Sam, but in the off chance you aren't, I did go ahead and give her a shout out down below. Please go follow the lovely Sam Gamer 101. She's, like, I've met my fair share of content creators over the years and have been able to make all sorts of friends. She's like one of the very few who like put in the absolute grind and really take everything that they do seriously, and that's always something I've like heavily respected. So if I can recommend her, at least on that accord, even just pushing my biasness towards her being a fantastic friend, go please follow her for me.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
We'll also do shout outs at the end of stream to make sure that anybody who pops in later can also check you out. But yeah, Zach, stop eating. I'm not even eating anything. I've got a drink. I've got a drink here with me.
Sharing some food.
I got a nice breezeberry drink.
Damn. All right. I got it. Root beer.
If I had foods, I would share with everyone. Give me that drink. Okay, you got Coke, like plain, like the original Coke.
Coke. Yes.
Damn, bestie.
No, Coke.
Coke. Like the Colt gun.
No, I'm like intentionally pronouncing it.
Oh, you're saying Coke like Coke.
No, like Coke.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll have to understand. A lot of my community considers me the quote unquote sweet bean. So that'll go right over my head. But don't worry about that because I'm not. It's a whole show that I put on. I'm quote unquote innocent. Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, that kind of Culk.
That innocent.
Hello, Ranger Boy. Welcome on in. Yeah, so everyone, please go check out the lovely Sam Gamer 101. She's fantastic. If you like horror games, which I know not everybody does, but she tackles like a whole bunch of like horror games, and even she likes her occasional girly horse game, which as of late has been very relevant for the record.
Yes, there's a girly horse game. It's the anime girly horse game. Oh my god, I love it so much. Bestie, I got so lucky, and I was pulling like some like really nice cards and like really nice horses. Chat was losing it. My goodness, I got so lucky that. Anyway.
Heck yeah.
Enough about me.
All right.
We can move it to Bolts.
Yeah, let's move on to Bolts. All right, Bolts. How are we feeling about this low Sam bar that was just set? She says low. I don't know. Sam's got a lot to offer.
Listen, I always set the bar low.
You're a good content creator. You shouldn't downplay yourself. You're awesome.
Lies and slander.
Slander.
No.
We like to spread a little bit of lie on the internet. A little bit of misinformation, if you will.
I'll just lightly salt it.
A little salt, exactly.
Hi everybody, I'm BoltsTheMechanic. I'm a retro mechanic VTuber. If Sam is all about horror, I'm all about retro games. My
Yeah.
model and aesthetic is inspired by a lot of games I grew up with, like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Sonic, etc. I am a retro variety streamer. I mostly stream retro games, like 80 to 90% of the time. We'll throw some like modern variety in there, like the horse game, which I'll be playing for the first time tomorrow, so that'll be interesting.
Yo, let's go.
But I'm all about going back, revisiting a lot of classics that people grew up with or games that I didn't get a chance to play. There's like a healthy amount of like, sharing fun facts and doing research, and the other half of it is just gooning and being unapologetically down bad. I also do I do a lot of
professional gooner.
professional gooner, yes.
Professional.
Cool.
I do a little bit of voice acting for safe work and not safe work stuff. I script shorts, share content across multiple platforms. I'm trying to like increase my output with even more stuff. And yeah, that's what I'm all about, pretty much.
Heck yeah. All right, but everyone in
Bolts
chat
is
land,
so
we have the lovely Bolts with us for the first time tonight. So if any of you aren't following Bolts the Mechanic, please go give the lovely Bolts a follow for me. Send some of that cinema love, would highly appreciate it. But no, honestly, like I very much resonate with your type of content because I'm also somebody who like I do play a little bit of everything and I'm very big on platformers, but man, do I love me some retro games. I kind of got labeled as like the retro gamer guy, even though I wasn't trying to label myself as that. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna run with that because retro games are incredible, and I love anything from like mostly the Super Nintendo era all the way up until well, whatever's considered retro these days. So. When you brought up like your Ratchet and Clank and especially like Jack and Daxter, I'm like I'm very much for that. But I'm going to ask you a mini question. Out of the Jack and Daxter games, what's your favorite? If you had to pick.
Probably the one I replayed the most was the third one.
Third one, okay.
Though, because I just liked a lot of the ideas that I had. I like it the same way that I like the third one of Ratchet and Clank, where it has like the most stuff in it that I think I like, but looking back on it and after researching the production history, it's like, oof.
Oh yeah.
I kind of wish this game cooked a little bit more because it could have been amazing if it did like that. That's the problem when you do a lot of research and things. Like you run the risk of losing a little bit of the magic, but you make up for that with just learning more about like what makes the game so interesting and endearing in the first place. That's
totally understandable. I know with the Jack and Daxter games, I do like 2 and 3, even though they're a bit of a different departure from the first one. But I'm a very big fan of the precursor legacy, personally speaking, because it's like platforming through and through. But like 2 and 3 are fun. I would say out of the 2 and 3, like 3 is probably the better game. Yeah, 2 is fun, but. Yeah, well, that's a whole other subject for another time. But two is kind of difficult in some regards, and unfair in certain ways. But it's a fun time. I love the Jack and Daxter franchise, and I'm also that weird guy that I don't know if this is like a weird opinion, but when it comes to the original trilogy for Ratchet and Clank, I'm a going commando kind of guy. I like the second one, but I don't know. I feel like most people like the third one.
I'm definitely more of an up your arsenal kind of person.
That's fair. I don't know what it is. I just like the second one.
Yeah, what a bunch of nerds.
Listen,
Damn.
I know what I am.
Damn.
I know what I am.
I'm gonna go play my Resident Evil. Hold on.
I'm gonna go play your Resident Evil. That's a fun time too. I can get in on that. That sounds fun.
I've actually been wanting to replay the Resident Evil series.
I plan on tackling 3 remake sometime this September/October for like around Halloween. Very excited.
Oh
I'll
yes.
revisit them, like the OG ones in
October. OG ones. That's gonna be fun.
I've never played the OG. I want to play them.
A lot of people like the crowd control Resident Evil 2 I did, and they kept giving me nothing but like wood redeems. So I'm hoping to bring back Resident Evil 3 as like a sequel stream series.
I was one of them.
Yeah, you sure were. You drew a piece for me of me just holding a bunch of wood because all my inventory had was wood.
Oh, I think I still have it.
You probably do. I know I do somewhere in my files. Yeah, no problem at all.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Hold on.
Let's see. I'm gonna read a little bit of chat here. Need to remind everyone, how many girly horse games you play. Oh, for Sam? Sam does like a girly horse games. If anything,
okay, listen, I played 2.
The resurgence of like the girly horse game. At least like the anime's been a thing for a while, but the actual game itself has been popping off lately. So if anything, like if something like that happens, Sam has got to dive into that. I feel like that's your calling card at that point.
It really is. Because again, like fun fact, people think that like hedgehogs are my. That's actually not true. Horses are. Horses have always been my favorite animal.
That's totally fair. Because I feel like sometimes when you base your character off of like an animal of some kind, people immediately assume like, oh, that's got to be your favorite animal. That's not always the case. Like I go by a ZonicTHedgehog OC and whatnot. Pretty straightforward. But hedgehogs aren't my favorite animal. My favorite animal is actually I like bears. I like bears.
Like bears.
I like bears, and I like I've always had a soft spot for penguins. I don't know why, but I've always liked penguins. And I had a monkey face when I was a kid. I used to collect like a bunch of like monkey plushies, and I love monkeys. Who doesn't like monkey?
Monkeys are cute.
So yeah, you would think I hedgehogs first and foremost. I'm like, no, it's more of a Sonic thing, if anything. But I do love hedgehogs. Though. Hedgehogs are cool. They're cool little fellas. I also love dogs. Dogs are great. We love dogs.
I love dogs.
We love dogs.
I love dogs.
I'll have to show you my dog sometime, Bolts. She is a big, white, fluffy cloud.
I would love to.
Absolutely. Drawn Kiddo says Sam loves horses. True. So true.
It's fine.
See, Ranger Boy says, I like reptiles, including alligators and crocodiles. That's fun. That's fun. Reptiles are cool. Plays Zelda, runs into Epona, non-stop running in circles. You know what's funny, Sam? You'd probably get along with my one cousin who... So I had two cousins growing up, and the boy cousin always loved Zelda and Ocarina of Time. We grew up on all that, but the girl cousin would always be like, I like the horse part, and so all she would ever do is run around with the horse. Yep. So you'd probably resonate with that a little bit.
Yes, that would be me.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Like like it was like me, my brother, and my other cousin. We'd all be like, "Yeah, Legend of Zelda, let's go! Shield, swords, rupees, let's go!" And then she'd be like, "I like horse." I'm like, I didn't quite understand that at that age. I had to been like maybe like 7 or 8. I was like, "All right, whatever. You can have your horse." Now that I'm older, I get the appeal. I absolutely do. Mm-hmm. You found the Zonic Wood image. It's in DMs. Okay, so we'll show this on stream super quickly, and then we'll move on to our first question. Oh wait, no, you put it in the chat. You got it here. Yeah.
Bestie, I'm not gonna interrupt. I'll just place it there and be like.
I just love the name of the file. Enough of your wood.
Enough of your wood.
Enough wood.
But yes, because that's what you said. Yep. You literally looked at the screen and you're like, enough of your wood. Like it was
one of the cheaper crowd control redeems, and all people would want to do is fill my inventory with wood, and everyone got in on it, so it just became a thing of like me like, oh, I need inventory space, nothing but wood. I'm like, god dang it. I was so upset.
You were so annoyed.
I was, but it became like a running bit, and I ain't gonna lie, like I love that. I love that we had a bit for that particular series. Who drew that? That was Sam. Sam drew that up.
I quickly drew that as quick as possible because you were about to end stream.
Yeah, I was getting close to ending stream and you finished it up. I'm like, hold on, chat, we gotta share this real quick. Leo says dragons and wolves for me. That's why the blue guy in my profile is them combined. Honestly, yeah. What do they call that when it's like a combined species? There's a term for it. I should know the name of.
Like a hybrid?
Yeah, it's like a hybrid. I remember there being like a term like way back in the DeviantArt days when people used to like make combo type characters, but I can't quite remember it. But yeah, it's like a hybrid. Oh, it's like some original like term or something. But anyways, see how much wood how much wood would a hedgehog chuck if a hedgehog could chuck wood? I could probably throw like 8 and then I'm tired. But yeah,
maybe like 1 and I'd be done.
Maybe like 1 and you're done. I'm probably underestimating myself,
but I would drop it and walk it away.
I don't want to set my bar too high now. My OC is a hybrid, for example, half hedgehog, half fox. Oh, so like the classic, yeah, hedge fox. Yes. So for those who don't know, I've been in the game of like Sonic OCs and Sonic community type stuff for like probably almost half my life now. And I feel like the most like common outside of like fox and wolf is definitely like the combination of like hedge fox, hedge wolf. I've been seeing that since like the early 2010s. And it's always such an interesting area to look into, but yeah, honestly, it's pretty cool.
I like Omegas.
Half bird, half vending machine. That's right, Omega does identify as a vending machine. We love Omega.
No, I smut like a vending machine.
Oh, okay, I see. Omega, if you've not seen that reincarnated as a vending machine anime, you got to see it. It's actually really good. It got a new season recently.
Oh my god.
Got a new season. Yeah, so let's actually dive into the meat and potatoes of tonight with some questions. So that way we could also dip into that very interesting subject we were talking about earlier. So here we go. Question 1. This is going to be a pretty straightforward question, and we'll start with Sam, and then we'll move to Bolts. Question 1. Why did you decide to be a VTuber, and what fascinated you about it?
So, funny enough, I became a VTuber without realizing what a VTuber was. So, kind of backing up a little bit. Before I started streaming, I was really involved with the community with someone who used what was the program? Oh my goodness. It was something that like was a little bit before like VTube Studios.
Was it Pure Live or?
It was like.
That's the only one I was familiar with on a personal.
Anyway, but yeah. So they used a character that was on Face Tracker. I think that's what it was. Was it? I don't know. But yeah, they were using one of the characters. I thought it was so cool. So when I started streaming, I became a PNG tuber, try and represent that. And when I finally got my first model, that's kind of when I started learning what like a VTuber was. So I was kind of just replicating a streamer that I looked up to and slowly figured out actually what VTubing was. But I just thought it was really cool that I could be a content creator and hide like behind a like a character, and I didn't have to show my face, and I could just be whoever I wanted on the internet. And I just thought that was the best thing ever. So that's kind of what got me into like VTubing. Because I thought it was like a cool concept.
It's totally fair, because like up until then, like I won't run off about myself too much, but like I had done like webcam stuff and whatnot on like YouTube and all that. But when I found out about VTubing being a thing, I was like, oh, like my first thought was I could be a little cartoon guy. How cool is that? Or you could be like an anime character or something like that's pretty neat. So I jumped in on that without really realizing what all of VTubing was. And I think the best part about having a VTuber model and not having to like show your actual self is that I can wear anything I want, pajamas wise or whatever I'm comfortable with. I can have messy hair and it doesn't matter. I'm ready to stream. I don't have to worry about my appearance or if I go to like eat or drink something, somebody looking at me a certain way. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
But yeah, that was my answer.
All right, Bolts. Let's hear your answer. Why did you want to become a VTuber, and what fascinated you about it?
Escape. It's actually not like a super uplifting story. I mostly just did it because I was going through a lot of stuff at the time, like in late 2023. Broke up with my partner. Like work was very stressful. I was just kind of like in a bit of a spiraling place. What I did stream a bit for a while with my partner at the time. We had a shared channel, and it's like, well, I kind of want to start fresh because this was like kind of a fun thing to do on the side. And I just didn't want to get on camera all the time. So I just reached out to an artist friend of mine who I was already working with at the time because I was helping him with some of the comics he was doing. It's like, design me a character, design the character. And I just kind of went to the first artist and rigger I could find to just do something really, really basic. If I knew about things the way that I do now, I probably would have just gone for like a free PNG or one of the public access stuff, but I didn't know about any of that. I didn't know about anything. I didn't set up anything. I didn't prep anything. I just kind of went. And I was lucky to come across a lot of really, really cool people throughout like that first year of VTuber. I've been doing this for a little over 2 years. So that first year was very much like me just kind of stumbling into it. And it wasn't until I actually went through it that I started to appreciate a lot of what it was doing for a lot of people and what it could do for me. I learned a lot about myself through VTubing. I came out as non-binary through VTubing. I met some amazing friends that I'll honestly ride or die from. And I came to the decision like last year, hey, I think I want to do this professionally. I think I want to do this like kind of as a big creative endeavor, and I've been making steps to do that for everything up until my re-debut, and since then it's like always trying to chase that, always trying to do something bigger, always trying to do something better. Now that's kind of that. So started from a not so great place, but eventually worked my way up to a much, much better place.
Honestly, no, I am so happy that you shared that with us because I resonate with you on that particular subject. So mine was a little bit like earlier than that, but like back in, I think it was like late, oh gosh, I want to say it had to have been like late 2020. Like VTubing was so new at the time. There was like just only but maybe a few people doing it, right? And I'm going to bring up this channel and everyone, just keep in mind, I'm just talking about this period of time. But yes, I had come across a Twitch, sorry. I think it was Twitch. Yeah, it was Twitch channel. Or YouTube. Anyways, my brain can't remember. Anyways, I had found somebody who went by the name Iron Mouse, and I was like, oh, who's this person? They got like a little character on the screen. That's neat. I went to go check in on their stream, and I was like, oh, they get to be like a little character. That's so cool. Like, what is this? Like, it was so new to me, and I found that fascinating. And at that point in time, I was kind of in a similar spot. I was heavily depressed, had previous issues beforehand, kind of like very similar to what Bolts was going through, and I needed like an escape. I was like, I need to start fresh. I'd done co-commentary, a whole bunch of videos, had like private them, take them down. I was like, nope, I don't associate with this person anymore. So kind of like move on, and I'm like, I need to start kind of like, I need a fresh new start. I've been doing YouTube for like about a decade at that point with, I'm going to say mild success. I had mild success, and but I wanted a fresh new start. I need something that like pushed me in a different direction, and VTubing looked like a very fun outlet. I didn't know what a debut was. I didn't know what any of that was. I thought, get a character, get someone to like do it, pay them. I had a half body character, and I just jumped straight into streaming. I had a Sonic Adventure 2 mod, and I'm like, all right, I'm in the game. I'm on the screen. How cool is that? There's 2 Zonics on the screen. Yay! And I ran. I started just streaming. I started streaming Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. I just, whatever game felt like I wanted, whatever I wanted to play at that point in time. But what was really new for me at that point was streaming. I was a Let's Player. So going into streaming was like similar, but instead of it being like a pre-recorded video and you edit it, it's whatever you're saying right now is happening right now. And that took some getting adjusting to. And I've loved it since then. But yeah, it was kind of like a gateway for finding myself, and it was breaking me out of my depression. I don't get depressed easily. I've never been depressed most of my life, but I had about a good year. I was like heavily depressed, and VTubing helped me get through that. It gave me some newfound confidence. It got me new connections and new friends, and I've become the best version of me now that I ever have my whole life through VTubing. And I will say this for now, just for the time being. I know the world can absolutely be a scary place, and not everything in the VTubing field is perfect and fantastic. But there are good parts about it, everybody. Never forget there are good parts about it. And we need to remember that through thick and thin, it's always worth doing what we do because we love what we do. And we love putting smiles on people's faces. And honestly, I want to strive to change the world a little bit and make it a better place and, inspire people. Even if it's just a little bit. I want to give people a good time and, spread the love and the good times. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't mean to pop off myself. It's just more so like your story resonated with me. I was in a very, very, very similar bubble. So I'm glad I wasn't the only person who like really kind of picked themselves up through VTubing a bit. So thank you for sharing, Bolts.
No, happy to.
Yeah. Start from the bottom and now you're here. Exactly. All right, we got question 2. What's your current main model, and what's the inspiration behind it? Some people have models, costumes. Like I'm assuming what we have on stream right now for all of us, they're probably our main models more so. But bit of a silly question. But what was the inspiration behind it?
So. Mine.
I feel like for me and Sam, we're kind of just aheem.
I was just like, all right, here we go.
Yep.
So my character was a side character in one of my stories right in high school. So in high school, I was like super into like Sonic the Hedgehog at the time. And I was also into like writing short stories and like building and that kind of stuff. So I built my own like universe of like Sonic the Hedgehog and these characters and just like random characters. I didn't know what OCs were at the time, so I didn't really have a character representing me. But when I wanted to get into streaming, I saw that a lot of people had like mascots that would represent them. And I was like, what would I use to represent me? And I had such a hard time, but I kept going back to this one character in my story that I loved this character so much. Like, I loved her personality. I loved her character design. And so I ended up running with Sam the Hedgehog and she was supposed to be a placeholder for like a year or two, and it's been almost 7 years. So, but yeah, so the Sam that you see before you has been slightly altered, but she was a character that I had came up with years ago as like a random evil side character.
I love how they were evil. That's really funny.
They were. She was working with Dr. Robotnik
of course,
to take over the world.
Naturally,
Yeah.
that's where the story's
gotta go. It was
one
of those cringe stories.
Absolutely.
I was like, oh.
Absolutely.
But originally Sam was always supposed to be a placeholder, and I love my character very much. But yeah, I am working on a rebrand, but I will absolutely cherish his character for as long as I have her.
Honestly, yeah, no, it is, and it was important to you. You know, it's a part of your history. So, heck yeah.
Yeah, I do. I love my character very much. But yeah, that's kind of like the inspiration, and listen, I love my character so much, especially with how unique she can look. Because when we were doing her design, I was actually working with someone who had never done a Sonic OC. And so that's why I'm a little bit more... my proportions are a little different, and I look a little different than, at the typical Sonic OC. Because I went with someone who has never made a Sonic OC before. Ooh. And I do like how unique I can look compared to a lot of like Sonic OC VTubers. So I would not change that for the world. But yeah, that's kind of my backstory and how I got here with this character.
I'm going to ask you a bit of a bonus question on the fly. So you said you went with somebody who had done like the Sonic like style and whatnot, but they must have done like previous other like looks or styles. Why'd you go through with them then, if I may ask? Like, why did you like you had to have had like confidence in them to like make that happen still? So
yes. So funny enough, I'm going back to this lovely creator for the rebrand.
Ooh,
but
okay.
Originally at the time he was trying to get a project off the ground where he was trying to do world building with VTuber. So he was making VTube models for free for people to play these characters and have like world building around it.
Also,
and it was at the
Magic.
time that I was introduced to him when I was a PNG tuber, and we got like really close as like friends. And he's like, "Hey, I would really like to add you into my universe," and so I got this model completely for free.
Oh wow! Him. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Like he came to me and offered to like give it a try, and so I didn't pay a penny for this model, and so that's why you love it more.
That's actually kind of incredible. Like you've gotten your miles out of that.
I did. Yeah, I so did, to the point where I'm going back to commission him for a different model, and I get to pay him.
Finally pay them. You know what? Respect. I respect that. That's so cool.
So, I'm also learning how to rig Live 2D models because I'm going to be rigging the new rebrand model. But also, he's working on another project, and I'm hoping to repay him back with my rigging to help him with his projects for free as like a thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, so that's a little bit more backstory.
Heck yeah. I did have like a set of questions and whatnot, but maybe if I ever throw in the occasional bonus question towards either of you two, feel free to like jump in on that and whatnot. I more so like I wanted to dive into that a bit because I was so fascinated by the idea of like somebody who like, when I go around and I commission somebody for something and they don't have the style I'm looking for, there is the occasional like I have that thought in my brain like, but could you though? I feel like maybe you could. And when you put money in time into wanting to do something like that, I get a little nervous that like I don't want to hand it to somebody and then they don't do it the way I want it, and like I'm in the ballpark of like I'm a little too nice, so like if somebody doesn't do it right, I'm like, oh okay, yeah, thank you so very much, and I kind of just don't end up using it, and then it's like, oh, however much money I spent kind of just that doesn't sit well with me. So I want to make sure like whoever I go with does the job I'm looking for, which is why I'm like a little pickier nowadays. But it's always satisfying when you go with somebody who's like, okay, oh, I've never tackled this style before. Goes to tackle it. Oh, you just knocked it out of the park because your character is unique compared to other like Sonic OCs out there in terms of like a VTuber model, and I think that's what I find it. Like that's why I find it fun and fascinating, because yours is different. Whereas like mine originally, like I'll make it short, but mine originally, it was a start, but it didn't quite look correct on the eyes. Like the eyes were the only thing that wasn't 100% correct, and then I ended up getting like a 2.0 version of my model, which is what I'm using now with a costume. And I feel like through and through, like mine looks like the pretty standard cut Sonic character, so which is great. But it can also be like just a very like I don't know how to say it. Like I don't want to say the everybody design, but it's it's on the dot, I suppose. So
Yeah.
But yeah, and I also wanted to say this real quick. Desert Ferret 7, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the cinema. I highly appreciate you. But yes, super sorry. I didn't mean to prolong that. Bolt, I would love for you to answer this question as well.
You got this.
The inspiration behind your model. I think I have a small idea as to where it went, but I'm curious as to the history.
Well, the model I currently have is technically only a few months old because I re-debuted back in May.
Oh, not long at all. Wow.
No. This was a design, but the design had been conceived all the way back in winter. I actually did talk to Sam a little bit about this during its early phases, and it did go through a couple of changes between the initial design and the final product. So my original design was a bit more humanoid, and it was still had the same inspirations and still had a lot of the carryover of some of the things that you see here. So it had the cape, it had the goggles, but the goggles were on the head, and instead of more exposed body, it was more humanoid with a bodysuit. Think cat boy-ish.
Yeah.
And that literally was just the result of, I mentioned I went to my artist friend, I gave them just a post-it note of 3 or 4 ideas, and it's do something with this, fill in the blank yourself. So a lot of the ideas that ended up making it into the final design weren't even that a lot of people they weren't even my ideas. The power button eyes, not my idea. At all. And I do owe a lot to my artist friend for doing a lot of that. And again, a lot of that came from me not really caring what I was doing. Very, very, I'm just doing this for the sake of doing this. I don't really have a plan. Don't really not putting that much thought into it. And then fast forward to last year where I'm okay, I want to do this more seriously, but I need I almost need a reset. I need to actually treat this with the kind of reverence that it probably actually needs. So let me actually take all of the skills and experiences I've accumulated in the past year, all the people that I've talked to, and just amass them all together. What do I want to put in this design that stands out for me? And also from a marketing standpoint, what do I want to put into this design that would help stand out and work for other people? Because I have this mentality of half I'm doing this for myself and for fun. The other half is the business angle, the wow factor. What can I do to draw people in?
And I want to say real quick, there's no shame in that whatsoever too, because some people get afraid of wanting to take it seriously to a point, they want to make something of it, make something from it, business and just grow. But in all honesty, that's we want to, because we can provide more when we do that. So
yeah. No, I don't have any real shame, and it's a thing where it's I know that a lot of people are afraid to talk about the business side of things.
Right.
I've been trying to be more and more open and normalize that, because there shouldn't be shame in wanting to treat this professionally like a business. In fact, a lot of people reach out to me to talk about those types of things and for advice. Even Sam has, and it's
yep, that sounds about right.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. If anything,
No.
I take comfort in the fact that people will sometimes look, it's hey, you're actually treating this seriously.
Yeah.
How do I treat this seriously too? Because at the end of the day, it's you can do this for yourself, but also do it in a way that also makes it appealing to other people. That's what marketing is. And I wanted to work as a social media manager for a while.
Ooh, okay.
So there's a lot of carryover there. But hell, even ironically, my model having tits and stuff like that. That was not originally in the early design for the model, but as time went on, it's man, there's a lot of marketing potential in just giving my model tits.
No,
You
I
know,
tell,
I kind
yeah,
of
Yes!
I've got a good friend streaming right now who's dipped into that domain recently, and they're just like, oh, I'm finally doing this now. Like they never thought they would have been doing that years ago. And I'm like, nah, go. I was like, shoot, go for it, have fun, let's go.
yeah. It's a thing where it's like, you know, I kind of want that, and it would be good for marketing. So
Yeah.
I did, and it's even now. It's like I find little things that I can improve or tweak or add. It's still a matter of figuring out what can I do to get the most out of everything that I have.
Yeah.
And I had a very successful debut thanks to a lot of wonderful people that like showed up and were there for me and gave me a lot of support. I still have a lot of people kind of behind me, pushing me. It's very much a case of there seems to be this mentality of Bolts, you're gonna do something. You're gonna like get there. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. None of us know when, but like the thought that you put into a lot of things that you do, that is work that in a way should be rewarded. I don't know if it should be, because there's a lot of people that work harder than me and only see a fraction of like what any of us have. But at the end of the day, I'm very proud of what it is that I've built so far. I feel like what I have right now in terms of aesthetic and appeal and understanding my audience and trying to give back to my audience lately has been a lot stronger. It's like every day you get another step closer to what it is you want to do and where it is you want to be. And I love this design because I feel like it's the perfect reflection of that growth, literally going from one to the other.
Yeah.
And trying to get the most out of it, trying to figure out ways to be more expressive with it, thinking of new toggles, making my tits bigger. There's so much I can do.
I gotta ask how much thought was put into that one.
Oh, like that specifically, one of my best friends, I sent them the reference for the model while it was being rigged, and their first thought was, does it have a boob slider? And I'm like, fuck!
I guess that is a thing, yeah.
And I didn't have time to add it, but I just recently had a subathon and my wonderful community did raise some money. So I'm like,
Heck
okay,
yeah.
I'm going to add like a new outfit to my model. And then I'm like, how much would it cost to add this? And they're like, not as much as you would think. I'm like, we're going to add this.
Yeah.
So
Let's go.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, if I could take a second to say this,
go home.
I know I tend to say thank you to my own community, and I praise them so much because I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for them. You know, I've only gotten this far because of them. But just shout out to those who have built their communities full of wonderful individuals who support us through and through. Like genuinely, like we wouldn't be able to do more and more of what we do and just build upon it if it wasn't for those who support us just through and through. And show up to the function. I mean, it takes a while to grow and continue that consistency, but you guys always make it worthwhile. And it's never, for me personally, it's never lost on me. I love it when everybody pops in. You just see all the familiar faces, and then you see new people pop in. Like that's the dream. That's the love behind VTubing. It's just being able to like meet so many new fascinating people. So thank you. Shout out to everyone's communities. You guys are the reason why we rock on. It's not just a community
thing, because that also makes up like the people that you meet.
Almost
every idea that I've like developed and fine-tuned has been off of the back of advice or a little push from somebody else, whether it's Sam or Geronimo or Sunny or my friend Kiko or even recent or even Yomi or other people that are like, hey, like this, and maybe this can lead into like the larger conversation about like VTuber in its current state. You're nothing without the people around you. You're nothing without the people, the company that you keep, whether it's your community, whether it's your friends or your coworkers or anything. So never forget that. And if anything, wear that support on your sleeve whenever you can, literally and figuratively.
Absolutely.
Because it keeps you grounded and reminds you that like, and I don't mean this in like an intimidating way, like watch what you do, but like just understand that there's only so far you can go on your own.
Right.
And understanding, and I think going into everything, with that mentality is a great way of gauging what exactly you need to do to grow, but also what you don't need to do to grow.
Right.
And there is something beautiful in keeping that company and keeping those like-minded individuals around.
Honestly, yeah. The I think that's what I've always found like to be one of my favorite parts about the VTubing scene is like the vine that leads you from one to another. Like I would have not really like met you, Bolts, if it wasn't through like, you know, originally somebody going, oh, you should like branch out more, talk with more people, and then I go to like one community to another, I meet this person, I meet that person, and at some point, like next thing I know, I've got like a million, like I've never had this many contacts before in my life where I'm just talking with so many fascinating, cool individuals, and I'm, you know, it can be a little overwhelming to some degree, but like I'm just honored to like know so many people who like share that similar passion and love what they do, and they stick to their guns. I think when you yeah, like you were saying earlier, like when you ground yourself with the people that are around you and that you care about, like that's the structure. You got to keep that structure strong, and you are going to have a little bit of trial and error. There are going to be things that don't work. There are going to be, unfortunately, situations where, you know, maybe somebody drops the ball and they weren't what you thought they were, and I've been through that a couple of times myself where like you think you know somebody and then you don't, but you just, you know, you got to have those experiences. You got to go through it a little bit to learn, you know, who the, I don't know how to phrase this, but like I guess like, you know, the good crowd to hang around. So I don't know if you guys have been in a situation like that, but like I've been in a situation for years now where I hang out with the wrong person only to find out later, oh shoot, you know, they had some issues and it went a little too far, you know. But now I'm starting to understand, like, you know, just who to really keep close and you know, be cautious where I need to be cautious. But, you know, I still want to branch out and like meet new people. You know, not everyone in this world has to be a dirtbag who, you know, drops the ball, because we've been seeing that left and right through companies and you know, big, I don't know, like streamers and whatnot. Like people, you know, we look up to these people sometimes and they drop the ball and then we're like hurt. But the thing is that Dazen, you know, we're people and people have problems, and we just need to remember that, you know, you got to stay true to yourself. If you can stay true to yourself and the people around you, and you love what you do, you'll be okay. You will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's always going to be the good and the bad.
There's got to be. You have to have the bad, because
Yep.
if you don't have the bad, you will never truly grow and appreciate the good.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
You can't have good without the bad, and sometimes you do have to go through bad situations
exactly.
to learn and grow who you are and who like your friends are, and just a better understanding of how the works, and then you learn from it and you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to our third question. So this one's interesting. And feel free to like roll with a couple answers. Would you ever want to change your model someday, or perhaps update it, add a costume? What are your plans? You guys got any future plans and whatnot? I know we kind of went over a little bit of it from each of you. Bolts, you'd recently had a debut of the new model, and Sam, you were talking about the rebrand. I know,
Yeah.
like, you don't necessarily have to like give out specific details, but you can kind of like go off about maybe what you might want to do someday, or, you know, what you're looking into.
Yeah, so at the moment, because I can talk a little bit about it, because I know one of the reasons why it's taking is because originally the only thing that I was going to change was the model itself, which is my mascot, what represents me. But it's like the realization hit me that, like, go big or go home. Like,
Yeah,
what am I
like,
doing?
you-
This
you-
is like, this
you
is an
got-
opportunity.
You
What
gotta
am I doing?
swing that bat. It's kind of like what Bolts was talking about earlier. Like when you know, a lot of us didn't really take it terribly seriously at the beginning because we just jumped in. And then there's a point where you're like, okay, I've been in the game long enough. I'm learning this and that. I've had trial and error. You know, I'm going for this next big thing. Let's take it seriously and take what we've learned
Yes.
from what we've done before and like really swing. So
Yes, that's why when I was first talking about it, I was like, all right, let me see if I can have it done by August. But now we're working on like world building, and I plan to change. The only thing I really plan to keep is username SamGamer101, because I actually really do like that user.
honestly, fair. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's unique enough. And so I've been working on like world building and the such. I feel like one of the reasons why I went with the Sonic OC at first when I first started because I didn't know what I wanted to do or be as a content creator. But now that I've been doing this for 7 years, August is 7 years,
You know what you want.
I realize that my passion is with horror, like whether it's the AAA or like indie. I like short or small. There's just something about like a spooky, scary game that gets me so excited, and I'm so passionate about it. And I'm like, that's what I want.
Heck
So
yeah.
the rebrand that we're working towards is better going to fit that idea and the world building around it, to the point where I'm going to be one doing most of the artwork, except for some of my emotes and the model art I will not be doing. But everything else I will be doing myself.
Heck yeah.
So that also means like rigging and animations I will all be. That's why freaking forever, because sadly I don't have the money. So, if you don't have the money, better learn how to do it yourself. So
Honestly,
that's
no,
why I've been.
that's
Yeah.
totally fair. That'll actually be a question I jump into later because we're going to be talking about like VTubing, how expensive is it, budgets, etc. So we'll probably dip back into that later. But I'm glad you're here because, I've also kind of been all over the place where like I like to put budget into what I do, but then there's times where I'm thinking, okay, could I do this by myself? Could I manage this asset doing this way, that way? It's a whole thing later. I'm going to bring it up later, but it's a very fun subject, so we'll dive into that here soon.
But yeah, so but yeah, that's really all I can talk about, is that it is going to be horror related, and I am stepping away from like the Sonic OC, and I'm going to better fit the content that I want to make, and I'm super excited, and I hope I can do it in a decent amount of time.
You absolutely can. I will say this, like in again, this goes for both of you. If you need to be vague about your answers, or just like, yep, I've got plans, that's it. Like if you need to lay low, I totally understand. I'm gonna just say it right now. I'm also like in the current works of like my next big thing. It's a huge change. Sam was talking about like username changes and whatnot. I went by ZonicTHedgehog for over 10-something years, and I switched over to Zach and Sonic. First name change I've had, and I've been running with that for about, I think, a little over 3 years now. And I will say now I'm currently looking into my options. We'll say that much, but I'm looking into my options and wanting to take it a bit more seriously. And the next big thing I got is it's a weird domain where I'm thinking like 98% of my watchers or like my fans or whoever, the community, are going to be like, yeah, that's awesome. There might be that like small little 2% where they're like, oh, that's kind of like disappointing or disheartening or something. But I'm confident in my community like backing me on my next big thing, because it's a big change. But it's kind of like what you were saying, like you're stepping away from your like Sonic OC, etc. Like I'm trying to aim for that next big thing. And everything I've had up until now is always gonna be a part of me. I'm never like 100% just throwing it away like, oh, that's done anyways. Like, no, it's so important to me still. But I want that next big step as a VTuber, and I've got plans myself, so very excited. But yeah, Bolts, I know you were kind of talking a little bit about how you had a recent debut back in May. Even if you have to lay low on details, you got anything in the pipeline?
I guess it's all about catching up on games that I haven't finished yet, and I'm trying like a new like video production pipeline, honestly, trying to put out more videos across platforms. But as far as the content itself, probably the next big thing is going to be in September. I have a new outfit planned.
Let's go.
A bunch of new, like, September is going to be all about Sonic. There's a lot of things I want to do
Sonic
in September.
Let's go.
Sonic September, exactly. Like some covers, or at least one cover. I want to play a lot of Sonic games. There's the new Sonic game that's coming out.
Yes, which, by the way, I'm going to ask you just on the spot, would you ever want to play that sometime? Because I am buying that Frame 1, and I'm so excited.
I would be down.
Let's
I
go.
have no idea what my schedule is going to be for September just yet. But
no, that's fair.
I would be down.
I'm going to be all over the place when that game comes out. So like, I'm going to be playing that game for like pretty much a week straight. So it's even if not in September, just at any point, like I'm down, because I'm going to be playing that game a bunch. It's going to be so fun.
It really is. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of things coming out the next couple of months. I mean, happy Pokemon Day. We have a new Pokemon game coming out in mid-October.
ZA.
We have a new Digimon game coming out later this year. The fall is going to be particularly interesting.
It sure is.
And
Holidays.
I'm hoping that I can get even closer to my goals before the end of the year.
Let's go. Actually, yeah. I was gonna say, did we? Let's just throw in a bonus question here for both of you. Did we reach any goals recently? And if not, what are the next goals we're reaching for? Maybe even by year's end. I know for me, on a personal, I reached 3K a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna be celebrating that, I think, next week.
Oh, I reached 3K last night.
Yeah, let's
That
go,
was nice.
3K gang.
Let's
Aside from that, I mean, I doubled my CCV, which is nice.
Heck yeah,
I'd like
let's
to
go.
maybe double it again by the end of the year.
That'd be
probably
great.
my next goal. And then I can start thinking about like more serious stuff come early 2026, but we'll see.
I struggled with my CCV, I think, for most of last year. Like, it was very, like it was just a line. Like, it kind of, like, just barely moved up. This is the first year where I've really, like, I've started to, like, detach away from my original number. Just really started to slowly but surely stray away from it and kind of go up a little bit. So I've been pretty happy about that.
Good.
So we reached our goal of 3.5K, which was fantastic.
Let's go.
I'm still actually somewhat going with my New Year's resolution, which we've been very proud, which is like uploading content on different platforms at a pretty decent rate.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, like most of it has been like edited clips. I do want to branch into like the long content, but just knowing that I'm getting content out there, I'm actually very proud of myself. So
yeah.
I'm trying not to bash myself too much, but like I'm just proud I'm editing clips and just getting out there, at least for right now.
It's kind of like going to the gym.
So,
You know, the hard part is staying committed and constantly going, but here you are with clips and you're going at it, and you know, as long as you keep that up, you'll be okay. You'll be doing good.
yep, that's the plan.
I'm hoping to kind of dive into that sometime myself too. I've been kind of like slowly but surely, like not as often as I'd like, but I've been uploading like clips. I've been editing a very few clips here and there and having fun with that. Usually it's gotta hit me like, oh, I gotta edit that. That'll be a really funny thing to post. But I love doing that when I can. So that's fair.
It is so fun. Yeah, because yeah, just sticking to it. Sticking to it is probably like the hardest part. And I'm proud that I'm at least sticking to it. Even though I could put more effort into it, I'm just happy that I'm doing it for right now. I gotta keep the schedule going until I get comfortable, and then I'll improve off of it.
Heck yeah, that sounds good. That is the goal. Let's go.
That's me.
Yeah, sounds good. So for our fourth question, this one's a bit of a simple answer. So if we don't have to linger on it for too long if you don't want to. But fourth question: how long have you been a VTuber, and has it become more fun over time?
Ooh, so again in August I would have been streaming for 7 years, but I've been a VTuber 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
So 2022.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think so. Roughly like 3 years. I've been VTubing, and honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world. It has opened many doors to me to the point where, like, I've actually met like the voice actor of like Wesker from like Dead by Daylight, and the voice actor for like Leon.
I'm still kind of jelly.
Like I think that's cool. Like one of the coolest things I've ever like gotten to do. Holy fudge!
No, that's super cool.
But yeah, that's me.
Heck yeah.
I've been doing it for a little over 2 years, about 2.5 years. Although I'll say probably like this past year and a half has been like me taking it like seriously. Yeah, I actually come from a bit of a YouTube background. Like I did a lot of work on YouTube, making editorials on stuff with one of my best friends. God, it's probably been like 10 years since I did that. Which is probably why I'm a lot more familiar with like YouTube's algorithm than with Twitch's. But
I feel that.
I think compared to most people, it hasn't really been that long for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I've definitely been in. So I've been in the VTuber domain since late March of 2021. So I've been going at it for about 4 years and like I guess like almost like 4 months, 3 or so months. So I've had quite a bit of experience, at least with VTuber models and whatnot. Oh,
Oh, I
Bolts
froze.
kind of disappeared.
Nasty!
Bolts,
Don't leave me!
did
Where
Bolts
have you gone?
implode? Oh
I'm
no.
still here.
You're still
I
here?
think.
I think it's just the VTube studio. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's VTuber Studio. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. But yeah, no. So I've been doing that for 4 years. I've had a YouTube background for a good while. I had done YouTube stuff back in 2012, like late 2012, and I did not take content creating seriously until very early 2014. Because I kind of threw darts at the board as a YouTuber. I was like, oh, let's just play this game, that game, who cares? I'm just doing whatever I care about. There was a day I played a particular game, and I guess it coincided with the TV show that was coming out for like the video game. So next thing you know, my video popped off and made tons of views. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But I still didn't really like. I was like, that's neat. Like, it was funny. It didn't actually get popular until about maybe a month after it released. I'm like, oh, but this is really popping off. I wonder why. Great. Until this day, that video is like, I think like it's got like 1.5 million or 1.5 million views or something like that. Anyways, it was pretty big at the time. But I remember like it had to have been like a January, February of 2014. I must say it was 2014. Where my dad was like, oh, Zach, you got a check in the mail. I'm like, I don't have a job. I was so young at the time.
Aw.
I was so young, I was like, a check? What are you talking about? And, you know, with YouTube, you can have, like, Google AdSense or whatever the heck. This was before I had, like, a YouTube partnership and all that, which I ended up getting very early on because of the success. But I ended up getting, like, a big fat check in the mail suddenly. I was like, money? I was like, oh, okay, I didn't even know you could, like, make money playing video games. How cool is that? So I ended up saying, all right, let's take this seriously here, right? So looking into a capture card, and this is when Elgato, I believe, was, like, they had only been a company for, like, a year. Up to that point, so I didn't even know what Elgato was. I had like something called a Hauppauge HD PVR2, and some people may have used what they called a Dazzle back in the heyday, and just it was a very primitive time. But yeah, no, that's when I started taking it seriously. But anyways, you know, cut forward to so many freaking years later, I ended up becoming a VTuber. I've been that for 4 years, but I've only been on Twitch for a little over 3. I had done VTubing in my first year on YouTube before switching over to Twitch because I felt like Twitch had a lot more to offer. It was a whole shebang, but like I've loved being on Twitch, being able to like come up with like redeems and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been a change, but I also kind of had that like YouTube background, and I think because of that, I had like, you know, I'm not gonna call it like fantastic editing skills, but over the course of time, I've like earned the ability to like edit things here and there. So like I'm not perfect, but I can conjure up some stuff every now and then, and usually my edits end up just being YouTube poops to throw up on Twitter and Blue Sky. So that's fun.
It works. It works.
Sure do. It sure do. All right. Let's see. 5th question. This one's a good one. Very simple question, but a good one. What's your favorite part about being a VTuber? You can even say a couple answers if you desire. If it's hard to pick one. But
My favorite part of being a VTuber.
yeah.
Holy fudge.
It's a big question when you think about it. It's simple, but it's a big one.
I guess I would have to say the people that I meet through it. Because when I started, I didn't really have a lot of friends. And I don't mean that as like, oh, like, boo, always me. I just wasn't very sociable. But ever since becoming like a streamer and getting into VTubing, I feel like it's pretty easy for me to reach out and make friends and talk to people. And just like the people I meet through it, whether it's, again, like a friendship, like learning from someone, or like a business or something like that. Like having small game devs like reach out to you, be like, hey, would you come play your game? I'm like, yes, I will. But just being able to talk to people and having that door open because you're a VTuber has been very eye-opening, and probably one of my favorite things is like just the connections I can make with people just by being a VTuber and by streaming, and just the people that you meet. It's just really cool. But yeah, I guess that would be my favorite thing.
Good answer, honestly. Good answer. All right, Bolts. Well, what's your favorite part about being a VTuber?
Alright, just yawning. I think it's actually kind of connected to. I don't think I answered this part of your last question, so apologies. It's
Oh,
the
no
idea
worries.
of like,
You're good.
has it gotten easier?
Oh yeah, I
over
didn't even answer that either.
time?
Sorry.
And it does sort of tie into that, because one of the things that I kind of dreaded and that I thought was very hard about being a VTuber is I use the analogy, it's like learning to constantly reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Because nowadays we live in a time where just getting a nice model and going live isn't always enough, unless you do something really, really unique. And even then, in terms of longevity, it's like you always gotta push the boundaries and do something cool or interesting like every week. And I dreaded that because it sounded exhausting. To like come up with a different idea. It's like it's like writing for Doctor Who. You gotta come up with like a different $1 million idea for an episode every week for like 80 plus years.
Or you might lose people, or it's not interesting, or something.
Exactly. And I dreaded that. But I kind of hit a point, I want to say early this year, I think when I was kind of in the throes of just being very creative, where it's like, you know what? No, I want to how can I reinvent the wheel each week? How can I make playing Star Fox interesting? Like, what new art or toggle or thing can I add to make this interesting and engaging? Like, how can I keep pushing the boundaries of what it is that I'm doing? Like, and that's pushed me to learn things like coding and working with different overlays and just trying to come up with new ways to, because I don't think I'm that interesting on my own. I know you'll counter that, but it's like, I always go into things with the idea that I don't think I'm that interesting on my own. I gotta have something there to help spruce it up. So how can I help spruce things up? And that started as a really challenging thing, but eventually turned into probably one of the more fun and engaging aspects of this profession. Because I also do think that's something that you kind of need at some point in order to like get over those humps.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, yeah, no, you bring up a good point, because in all honesty, like, even before the VTuber model thing, for me, like back on YouTube when I did Let's Plays, all I had to do, and it worked most of the time, record gameplay footage, your commentary, edit it up however you want, plaster it up on YouTube, done. People listened to it, they watched it, that was enough back then, it was fun. Nowadays, it's, going live, making sure all your programs that you need are open, the throwables, the redeems, the model, make sure your model's, positioned properly, make sure everything's positioned properly, make sure, if you have co-commentators that their PNGs or whatever they're using is in the right spot. There's a lot of strings. You're kind of like puppeteering like all these things at once to make it all work, and, you do this big, like, production type thing going on here. People don't realize, like, there's a lot behind the scenes. And even then when you've got that going on, there's the wall of, okay, what makes my stream interesting? And unfortunately, I hate to admit this, but at Days End, everybody kind of wants that piece of pie and wants to kind of put their 2 cents in as a content creator. When you go to stream that day, it's how are you going to pull people in to watch you instead of like maybe somebody more up there or somebody else that they're watching? And bless the people out there who like have several tabs open and check out several people at once. I kind of try to do that for the friends and homies that I tend to want to support and whatnot. But, sometimes you have that one person who's on their mobile, they're on their phone, they're on Twitch mobile. What will attract you to my stream instead of somebody else? And will you stick around long enough and be interested? And sometimes it does require those like extra, reinventing the wheel moments or doing something interesting. I'm somebody like when I make up a schedule, I try my darndest that every week there's at least something new each week. There's got to be something new, something interesting, because if I'm just, hey guys, another week, we're playing the same game 4 times over, like, I can't do that. I have to have something that's just different and spices things up, because I don't want to bore people with the same thing over and over again. Now, there are some people out there who are like, I've seen some people in passing who do like, oh, all I do is ASMR streams. Maybe that's your thing. If you're able to make that work, fantastic. But I'm somebody who, like, I like playing retro games, platformers. I'm not going to be able to play, like, if I'm doing Donkey Kong Country one day, I'm not going to be playing that for a week straight. I got to come up with multiple things I'm doing that week. So, all right, let's throw in a Sonic game. I've got a Sonic model. There's a thought process behind it all. It's Sonic game, Sonic model. That attracts people. That's neat. Okay, I'm playing the newest Nintendo game. I'm going to bust out that game with, like, a costume that's similar to, I got, like, a plumber outfit for one of my models. So, like, let's bring out the plumber outfit. I think about every little detail and thought as to like what I'm doing. I even asked Omega before I doing this podcast tonight. I said, Omega, I kind of want to use the Cinema Zack outfit, my human character, because I haven't used him in anything recently. I've always been using the little green guy. You know, do you think I should do that, or do you think I should run with the Sonic character? And I kind of already knew the answer, because when I was bringing you guys on board tonight, my Sonic character seemed like it'd fit more with everybody. And Omega was like, that'd be a neat one to do, but he was like, oh, the Sonic, look would probably fit better. And I was like, thank you for your honesty. I also thought the same thing. I'm trying to find an excuse to use my human model, because I haven't used it in a minute. But in all honesty, yeah, sometimes you kind of just roll with like what you know will really work for that day. And it's kind of ties into what we were talking about before, like when you're aiming for that next big like model or new thing, is that you're trying to take in all the information and the trial and error that you've had from your past of being a VTuber, and you really want to swing the next time you go for something big. Like you want to make sure you're not going to, make as many mistakes. And nothing will ever go perfect, but you want to make sure that if you're going for this next big thing, you're swinging hard. So I know for like what I'm aiming for, like I'm taking into account I'm not going to say failures, because I don't consider anything I've done so far failing. I've considered it like, okay, what didn't work, what did work. Next big thing, let's make sure we've learned from the things that didn't work, and learn from what did work, and then try something new, and that's how you make it, interesting and fun. So there's a whole lot more that goes into what we do, chat, than what we really put out there. It's a lot in the background. And but that's what makes it fun. It's kind of like what you were saying earlier, Bolts. It's like, reinventing the wheel. It's kind of exhausting when you think about it, but it's also the thing that kind of makes you innovate and it really shows who cares about what they're doing, who takes it seriously, and you will actually see the passion behind, like, how passionate we are about our ideas and what we're aiming for when push comes to shove. Because at Dazen you could just open up a model, stream whatever, and go, okay, cool, I'm streaming for the day. Anybody can do that. It's perfectly fine. But for those who take it seriously, like, we want to push the envelope. We want to see what you guys like and what you don't like, and that way we can learn from it. I've had streams, I mean, I'm sure you both can agree to this. Have you ever had a stream where you go to do it and you're like, okay, that wasn't it. I wanted to try it. It didn't work out. That's okay. I've learned now that isn't it. Don't have to ever go back to it. Great. But we've had moments like that. We have to have moments like that, because if you don't, you're not going to learn what does work. You'll find your niche. And for me personally, like, I'm not like on the dot perfect with everything that I do, but I've found mostly my niche, and it's been working. So yeah.
That is half the battle, finding your niche.
Exactly.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with like dipping into it a lot. Like I've come to terms that people, I mean, it's no surprise because of my YouTube channel, but people like my retro gaming. So I dive into a lot of that these days, because it does pull in the people who they like nostalgia, and it takes them back to a time. And if I had $1 for every YouTube comment I've ever gotten where they're like, oh my God, you brought me back to my childhood. Like, I love getting those comments, and I still get them till this day, because, if I can bring you some good times, good memories I used to have, like, that's honestly amazing in its own right. So I'm definitely here to continue that.
Absolutely. It's like the reason why I focus on like horror content, because I feel like I do really well with that.
Yeah.
But because I've had this where every time I try and like tiptoe kind of out of other than like the girly horse game, that's for some reason that just doesn't count. I don't know. But like I'll step into a cozy game, and I'm just like, that was not it. I'm going back to my horror.
I understand that, in all honesty.
I need blood and screaming, not like just like the piano in the background. The community's like, what is this? What happened to this?
Sam, you and I have, funnily enough, been opposites. So for me, like, I love doing horror games. I love playing a spooky game every now and then. But a lot of my community are like, oh, I'm not big on horror or spooky stuff and whatnot.
Yes.
So
we have the opposite communities.
So I'll go to stream something horror, and like my views get cut in half because not everyone cares for that. So then I'll come back the next day with like, oh, here's Super Mario, jingle jingle. Here's Mario, jingle jingle.
Yeah. I'll come back the next day. Oh, look, my daylight, jingle jingle.
Jingle jingle. Like it's very much
face, jingle jingle.
Yeah, it's very much that, like, people know what they like and what they're here for. And honestly, I don't mind feeding them like my norm. It's just when I go to do something different, sometimes it's hit or miss. I'm like, that's okay. I went to try it. I had to give it a whirl.
No, it's like the girly horse game. Whenever it really doesn't like you today. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't. It's okay.
Oh,
it's
no.
just YouTube Studio being a butt.
It's a
you know what? Hold on.
trick.
I'm gonna kick it for you. There, I did it. But it's like, that's why I was really afraid to play that anime girl horse game, because I'm like, this is not what I'm known for. And so, because like the community is like, yeah, I want to see it. I want to. You're saying that now, but the moment I
but
pull
that's
it up,
it. They're
Yeah.
like I'm always so afraid to like put up a vote for something, and I'm like, all right, but this is what you asked for, and then you go to do it,
Yeah.
and then nobody
and
shows up to the
then the
function.
community's
You're
like,
oh,
no, that's not what I wanted. Huh?
It's literally
Like,
a
no.
SpongeBob meme. Then why did you ask for it?
So, but yeah, I played it and everyone loved it, and I'm sitting here like, huh?
Yeah.
What? So apparently the girly, I honestly think it's how I react, because bestie, I go hardcore, man. I'm so into it. Those horse girls just go, and I'm like, oh my god, go. I get so into it, bestie.
It's exciting though. Like I've watched my fair share myself, and it's pretty fun.
I love it, but
It
yeah,
also seems to be the trendy thing right now for a lot of people to stream. So like, in all honesty, I don't like blame people for like dipping into it and trying that for just even that particular reason.
Yeah, because I don't get into like these type of games, but for some reason there's just something about this game.
Yeah, there's something that seems to be like pulling in those who aren't even like into that kind of like gotcha style. Like it's pulling those people who are like, oh, I don't do these. However, you know.
However,
there's a bit
but
of an
yeah,
exception.
I just want to talk about where it's just like, yes, I understand. And
yeah.
We have like the complete different opposite communities, which
we
is really...
do, but somehow, funnily enough, I feel like when we do stuff together, depending on what it is, it kind of balances. Like it works out.
It does.
Let's see here.
I don't know why V2 Studio isn't loading me in. This is it's just frozen on my end.
Oh no. I can either reset the room or...
I would reset.
No, I don't think it's on your end. I think it's on mine, because if it was on your
end,
end, Sam would also be affected. Yeah.
That's fair.
It's just my computer. I think it's just hot in my like room and everything.
Totally understand that.
Maybe if you weren't so hot, you know, we wouldn't have this issue.
Yeah,
So,
I think you wrote yourself into a corner there with the model.
Funny. No, I think my computer's been having like memory issues lately because Chrome like eats up so much memory. Like
I uninstalled Chrome. Chrome has such a shit fit on my computer.
I went to Opera GX at one point because Chrome just was not it for me at some point.
Chrome just straight up. No, actually, this might just be V2 Studio, because it just straight up crashed on me.
Oh dang! Oh shoot!
I'm gonna reopen it. That's weird.
I'm gonna beat it up for you. Hold on.
Darn you, Gabe Newell.
Frick you, how dare. Interrupting. Damn, you taking my bolts away from me.
How dare.
I'm offended.
I want my bestie. And that brings us to our next question. No, I'm kidding. But actually, we could probably get the next question going, even if you want to still tinker with your VTube Studio. So the counter question to what's your favorite part about being a VTuber? What's your least favorite part about being a VTuber? Like, what's the thing that you hate the most?
The anxiety.
I feel that.
Mine could be a little bit of different things.
Yeah, feel free to dip in as much as you'd like, because I can even throw out one of my first answers.
Yeah.
I would make the joke nobody likes scuff, but nobody likes it when a stream crashes or something isn't working. You're having to like fix it on the fly and it's taking a while. Like that's where the anxiety really comes up. It's like, oh shoot.
For me, those are frustrating, but those are the things that I don't really mind. They're just more frustrating.
Yeah.
For me, it comes to like the bad part of like VTubing, of meeting those fake people that are either trying to ride off of your success or just want to get close to you because of one reason or another. I kind of dipping into what's going on. Like, I've never been a huge fan of kind of like the big agencies. Like I love the VTubers, but like the agencies, I've never just been a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Very obviously taking like revenue and basically Anyway, but yeah, there's a lot that I don't really like about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more specific, if that makes.
No, you're good. You're good.
Am I getting my bestie?
I'm loading back.
I want my bestie.
Load back in. Let's go.
VTube Studio just crashed. Like, I think it was a Steam problem.
It could have been, honestly. Yeah. Wait, I was about to say today's Tuesday. I know sometimes Steam likes to.
Right, there are updates late in
Yeah.
the evening on Tuesday
Yeah,
sometimes, so I
so-
might just be in like a bad spot.
Yeah, I was wondering if that
Might
maybe
be.
that's it because we've me and Sam have done like Dead by Daylight sometimes. So, like funnily enough on a Tuesday and then it get fricked up. So yeah,
Listen, I have my bestie backup good.
let's go.
That's good.
Everything is right in the world now.
Everything is right in the world
Yeah,
now. I can be happy.
Absolutely. Also, I'm
You
gonna
just want to
derail.
stare at my tit.
I'm
No!
gonna.
No!
I am a simple child. I know
Look
that's
at
what
them.
I know that's what Sam.
Look at them.
No, please.
I paid money for them. Enjoy them.
You're right.
This is
Hold
for
on, I'll
you.
stare.
I can
Bestie,
lean in.
I'm looking respectably.
No hot dog.
See, you're taken.
No,
Don't look.
listen.
Damn.
Listen, you
Listen,
were. You
I'm
were
not taken. I can look.
Listen, you
I
were
can
saying
look.
at what you were saying
Eyes
at.
over there.
I've been wanting to say this for an hour, but on Bolt's model, the actual bolt for the braid of your hair, like, is like one of my favorite parts of your design. It's
It
very,
is so cute.
very cool.
Damn, bestie. Man, now I'm distracted. Wait,
creative.
what was the question?
See, I'm
A
looking.
lot
I'm
of different
looking.
inputs went into this design.
I'm looking.
Probably
I'm a child.
7
I looked at
different
the
people.
shiny thing.
The shiny.
Yeah, definitely went for something more asymmetrical overall.
Fair, honestly,
across the
fair.
design. And I really my OCD ass is like, oh no, asymmetry. I was having like a Death the Kid moment from Soul Eater, but the
That's
more
fair.
I did it, I'm like, no, yeah, put the earring on this ear and the braid on this ear,
Yeah.
and it's like only have the cape on this. It creates more of a silhouette, which helps the design overall stand out.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, welcome in,
but
Joe.
as to your question about things I dislike,
I feel like there's just a lot. So
there is a lot to dislike.
There is, especially recently.
recently.
Yeah, Jinx. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
I will say,
Yep.
I'll pick one internal thing and one external thing. Internally, I mentioned the anxiety as someone who's already got imposter syndrome. When I try to have like good confidence in myself and what I'm doing and the path that I'm on, but sometimes I get very tired. I don't take care of myself, and it's hard to keep those walls up that keep the bad thoughts out. And when I can't keep the walls up, the bad thoughts get in. It's like, what am I doing? I'm worthless. I'm this, I'm that, and the other thing. And that's another reason why it's good to have people around you to be like, stop it right now. You are loved and you are cool and you're gonna go places. Another reason why community is so important, not just like with the fans that you keep, but also like with the friends that you keep. And I'm very thankful and fortunate to have friends that can kind of just sense when I'm like, you almost call it my period, because it's like I have that time once a month when I like just feel like shit, and it's like, Bolts, it's your time. I'm ready to hype you up. I'm ready to hype you up and give you ice cream. But the external thing. Oh, ice cream is awesome when you're feeling
It's true.
The external thing I think that bothers me the most, it's the cruelty. And that can take like many different shapes. It can be people being two-faced.
Oh my god, preach it, holy freaking crap.
It can be people lying. It can be people, or it can be people trying to build a platform off of hate.
Yeah.
Which has been popping up a lot lately, and I've wanted to talk about that for a little bit, where it's like, I don't understand what the goal of that is besides just making everyone feel bad, and I'll never really respect.
It's because it's rage bait.
It is rage bait, and that is like a bigger problem, not just in our sphere.
Yeah.
You could argue it's infected our sphere more lately, but that's like a bigger problem everywhere in film, television,
Like anything entertainment, yeah.
But as far as this sphere goes, it just fundamentally goes to the way that I like look at this type of content. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning. You don't grow big without fostering those connections, strengthening them, building that community, having like friends that like share your sentimentality, share like share the mentality of like what it means to enjoy yourself and have fun. You don't do that on your own. I genuinely do think it is impossible for you to get to any major heights completely on your own. So anybody that goes about things specifically in a way that is burning bridges or tearing down ladders, it's like, no. And even if you want to come to me and be like, but Bolts, like if you make it to we can't all be at the top. It says who? It's I always go back to this quote from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds of all places. If we want to get really nostalgic. And it's about a character who's talking about being the very best, like being at the top of the mountain, like being the king of the world. And they're like, it's supposed to be a lonely existence, you know? No one else is supposed to be with you because that's what makes it special. The fact that like you made it to the place that nobody else could. And I'm like, to an extent, because you got if we're comparing this to climbing a mountain, you left footprints in the snow to get to where you are. And those footprints inherently make it easier for someone else to chase after you, to chase after the peak that you made. And you know what? If someone else reaches that point alongside you, that just means you got to find an even higher mountain to climb. Again and again and again. The cycle continues. There is comfort in that solidarity, in making it to the top, but it can also facilitate other people to grow and create that competition and create that community to make things even better. So I dislike people that almost go out of their way to stunt that type of growth and creativity just for the sake of getting ahead by a few steps. Because that just pushes... But inversely, that just pushes me to work even harder to be like, no, I'm going to drag all these motherfuckers with me. We're going to all pass them together, and we're just going to prove that wrong. It's the Superman mentality. It's like kindness should be the cool thing that gets us through everything. Not cruelty and selfishness.
Absolutely. Also, Luna, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in, everybody. We're currently hosting episode 3 of Broadcast64. We're talking about what's it like to be a VTuber, and we were currently on the question of like, what's your least favorite part about being a VTuber?
You caught me preaching. I'm sorry.
No, honestly, please do, because in all honesty, like these are things that like sometimes I'll be at work or somewhere else, and I'm like, I'm thinking all of this in my head. And I'm wondering, like, who also kind of thinks about these particular, like, thoughts or subjects and whatnot. And, you know, you think you're alone when you're really not. There are so many of us out there thinking the exact same thing or something similar, and we're really not alone. If anything, there's, like, an abundance of us kind of going through very similar but, you know, independent journeys and just trying to figure everything out. And, yeah, no, there's... I think that's I'm going to kind of answer a little bit of, like, my least favorite part about being a VTuber. And it's definitely, like... having the proper connections and like knowing who's a good connection, who's not a good connection. You know, through content creating, I've been, you know, bit here and there a few times by things that didn't like work out, or, you know, I remember very early on, very early on. I'm not going to point out the name or anything, but I had somebody a while back when I started out as a VTuber who was like, you know, Z, when you become famous, don't forget me. And I was like, oh, I would never do that. Like, I'm very much about the people and my friends through and through, no matter who has like whatever number. I don't really care. I'm here for just, you know, good people. And they got big, and they forgot, they like moved on from me pretty much. And I was like, that's ironic how they said that to me, and then they end up going off and doing that. But you know, I'm not like burnt by it anymore, because, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I'd say like that's my least favorite thing is like, you know, when you thought you had that connection and it doesn't pan out. And, you know, that's just life. That's people. You know, people come and go. I think that's just how life goes. But I've always kind of had to kind of tell myself, like, oh, the real ones will always stick by your side and be there with you. And you know, you're always going to constantly meet new people. And some people do take their leave and go elsewhere. And that's, you know, that's fine. You know, that people come and go. But, yeah, I'd say that's, like, my least favorite part is, you know, it's... I pretty much everything Bolt said. It's hard for me to really retract it because, like, what you said, I kind of, like, full-heartedly agree. And that's what I'm kind of striving for more going forward is just the good connections, the good people, and, it's you are your environment. You guys were talking about like the rage baiting and whatnot. I wouldn't want to be famous just because rage baiting worked. That's gonna be my environment. That's not what I'm about. I don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of like drama and hectics like that. I want to give people a safe spot and a place where they feel comfortable and happy. And whether that means my growth is a little slower than somebody who goes out there and rage baits, that's fine. I want to be known for what I like putting out there, not just put something out there for the sake of growth and then it's not me. That's what I love about VTuber, because you can tailor your content to what you're about and what you like. And if you get those people who like a similar thing and are a part of that part of your community, I think that's what makes it fun, is like people coming through and being like, yo, I like that too. And they sit down and they're willing to listen and share their, what they like about it. And I don't know, that's just the cool part. I wouldn't want to be part of the negative space, or the people out there who've got like the two-face, or the, somebody goes to like, chat with you just to like work off your like success or your fame. Like I'm not here for that. Like first and foremost, like when I bring someone on board for like a collab or a co-commentary, I'm not here just to work off of somebody's like channel or something. I personally speaking, like, you probably heard this a million times over, I just like making new friends. I'm shy, I get nervous, but like I just want to meet new cool people who share similar interests, or just maybe just want to play games. It doesn't even have to be on the stream. Just vibe out, chill, get to know somebody. Nothing wrong with that. I feel like a lot of people just they'll collab with somebody like that was neat anyways, and then like move on to another person. It's just like, bro, I don't know. I'm not asking like said person's got to be around all the time, but like, yeah, I'd like to make new friends and connections and share my community with them. Maybe there are people who watch me who haven't watched the person I brought in, and they can go now watch another new person. That's awesome. I want to be the person who gives the gift that keeps on giving. Give people more avenues for people to like watch another cool content creator. I've had so many people who were a fan of mine who become a fan of somebody else, and they're just like, it's changed their life. Like they will go to that content creator and they get something from them. Like they'll learn from them and what they're about. And I don't know, there's a beauty behind that. I truly believe there's a beauty behind that.
There's one like small things that like sometimes irritates me. Because so not all the time, but there are some like really big content creators, just a handful of times, they like cookie cutter content creators.
Oh my god.
And there are times I'll scroll down to the bottom and I will seriously find a hidden gem where I'm like, how are you not more popular than this? Like, you're freaking, yeah, I like your content. And I'm like, why aren't you getting like the traction that you like deserve versus like some of these? And I don't mean that like, but it's just like, huh?
No, I feel you on that one.
That just kind of irritates me sometimes, because I'm like, I don't, because I don't want to be no cookie cutter content to right off the back of someone else.
I have like for years now, I have had people that I was like, I mean, like not even just recent years, I'm talking about like years now, for years, like several years, where I've seen some people like I had connection with that like they will on purpose like play the cookie cutter act because they want to be seen as somebody who has not a single problem, like they're perfect. And I think that's something I can't personally do. I have problems. I'm an adult that goes through issues, and and I'm trying to learn, myself and the people around me and whatnot. And I think that's the first step is, I want to be like Mr. Professional and have, obviously there's nothing wrong with being professional, but like also have fun with it. But on the same hand, there's nothing wrong with showing a little bit of that like humanity side of yourself. Like be honest with yourself, be honest with your community. There are days, like I've seen people who are like huge streamers that like, they're like, I'm so sorry chat, I broke down on stream, I feel bad about that. And I've been there maybe like a couple times before, and I'm like, don't feel bad about that. We have to remember we are people at days, and like we're gonna have days where that happens, and yes, it really sucks, but we don't have to act like we're 100% perfect and put on the facade of like we don't have issues. I'm not saying like complain constantly, but like you can be real. I think it's perfectly fine being real. I had a bit of an issue like that a couple months back where I got a little irritated on stream. It was like very mildly, and somebody pointed out like, oh, Zonic's not being cheery anymore, and I was like, oh, am I always supposed to put on the face of like being perfect? Like I'm gonna be real with you, I can't. I try my best to be uplifting, happy, give people a good time, but like I am not perfect. I will have faults, and I want to come to terms that that's okay. It's okay to have faults.
I've cried, like I've like snot and tears on stream, and I've gotten extremely like upset on stream.
Just
like,
because your girly horse did. I'm kidding.
Okay, listen here. Hold on.
Just because you didn't win the big race doesn't mean you gotta cry in front of everybody. It's
No,
just a game, Sam. It's just a game.
No. Damn, chat. I'm gonna strangle someone.
Oh, okay.
But,
go ahead. We're gonna have violence here. Let's go.
Like I understand like playing a character because there are some people that choose to play a character in stream, which is totally fine. But if you're not one of those people, like it's Bessie, you're human. It's okay to have like a bad day.
It's okay.
Like we all have bad days. It's all right. Listen, shit happens. All right. The world is messy. Just saying.
The world is messy. I think that's the thing that we struggled to hit at Day's End is there are beautiful parts of this world, wonderful parts, but there are bad parts. The bad is really loud. I understand the bad is really loud. I think the ones that really make it work and get quote unquote to the top or reach where they want to reach are the ones who can pile drive through it. It takes a really strong will to get through it. Because I don't know if anyone's ever seen that. I wanted to bring this up earlier, but I don't know if anyone's ever seen the whole, like there was this chart I saw a while back where it's like, you know, VTubers that quit 6 months in, VTubers that quit 1 year, VTubers that quit 2 years in, and
my goodness,
you'd be surprised. I mean, maybe, but you might be surprised how many people quit within the first 6 months because they didn't gain success immediately. Thing is, you know, everybody has a different path and journey. Not everybody immediately takes off, but like. I'm a firm believer. I don't care if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 or 5, whatever. You know, 6. You know. I'm not saying it's the best strategy in the world, but like, you know, be a little stubborn, stay in the game. There are people who quit so early because it just didn't work out. I've had friends who go, oh, I've been stuck on Twitch, like on my number, like really badly for a good couple of years. And I meet them and I kind of give them some pointers, give them some experience and the thing, you know, just things I can help them out with being, you know, have the background of YouTube and other such. And they start growing. And it's like, I'm not here to like do that, you know, for any bad reasons. Like I genuinely, like I didn't have anyone to hold my hand when I started out doing YouTube back in 2012, but now that time has passed and I have like, experience, if I can pass that experience on to people, I will. You still got to experience things for yourself, but if I can kind of like set you off in the right direction, like that's the beauty of it. Like I would love to like help people out in that regard and give them pointers and, you know, just get them going. I'm not saying like I'm going to make you an instant success, but you know, these things take time and you gotta stick to the game. You gotta be willing to learn. You also gotta be willing to understand, you know, what doesn't work. Like we were talking earlier, like I was somebody who did, when I did YouTube content, I cranked it out at one point. I was just cranking it out. I didn't care what I was doing. I was cranking it. I wasn't putting thought into it. I just cranked out something for the sake of cranking something out. I was cranking it. And now that I feel like
really?
There was a point in time, this is going to sound funny. I remember back, so between 2012 and 2017, when I was a YouTuber, once I reached 2017, 2018, I went, I think I hit a ceiling. I don't think I'm getting any better than this. I'm so cool. Like, this is as good as it's getting. No, I think through VTubing, I've learned, like, you can completely shatter that ceiling constantly. There's always going to be a ceiling to shatter. And I'm going to touch upon this. I'm not going to bring up names in particular because, you know, there's so many people who've done this. But I've seen a few people in passing who, like, they reach Twitch partner and go, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm stuck.
Yes.
Like, I've reached it. That was my goal. Now that I've reached it, what am I supposed to do? Like, where do I go from there?
No.
And, like, I'll make this quick, but, like, in short, I've always told myself, I'm aiming for Twitch partner. I'd like to reach that someday, but that is not the end of the road for me. Like, I'm gonna want to go way past that. Like, maybe it's the Dragon Ball brain talking, but like, I want to shatter through every possible goal till I can't anymore. Like, that's my mindset personally.
I want to steal the conversation real fast.
Please do.
Oh
Pop
my!
off.
So I'm dealing with that right now because originally, like, one of the big goals was, oh, I want to Twitch partnered. I don't see myself getting that anytime soon. So I've found myself in limbo is the best way I can put it of like, what the frick am I doing? And so it's like I have to find like these little goals to push for, like, you know, oh, the follower goal. Oh yeah, but I feel like I'm such in limbo to the point where I have to start finding different goals. And that's why, because one of the big things we're working on right now is doing this is going to be my second raid train coming up that we're going to be hosting.
Ooh.
So, like, I have to find projects like these for me to keep going, to not feel like I'm in limbo. And so I still kind of feel like I'm in limbo, but at least I have a direction to go. And I'm afraid that, you know, if I ever do get to the point where, you know, I do get Twitch partner, which I freaking knows what the future holds of them. I feel like I'm not going to know what to do with myself, because so I'm doing a secret experiment right now, which I can't talk about. But it has opened my eyes to like a lot of the stuff of
DMs are open.
the bestie. Yes, I don't.
I'm a little curious about the raid train. If you ever want to relay that at some point, but if not, no worries. Not on stream. I'm saying like if you ever want to talk about something, let me know.
I actually I can talk a little bit more about it.
Sure.
But I had a bestie randomly. Bolts is actually involved. But we had a bestie get into a hard spot, so we're just doing a raid train with. I think there's like 30 people involved or something like that. But it's gonna be like a 24-hour, like 5-day raid train. But we're helping to raise money to kind of get them back on, because shit happened, life happened basically. But it's like I have to do this kind of stuff to get like out of limbo, and I think that has been like one of the hardest things for me as a streamer. I think is figuring out goals and to better myself, and it's so hard. But yeah, I really want to talk about that, because oh my goodness, I feel like I'm in limbo right now, because it's like I don't see myself reaching Twitch partner ever, and so I feel like I'm in limbo of like, all right, I need like goals to push myself.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
I'm gonna sound like way too overly confident. Maybe I'm just kind of like that. But in all honesty, like it stems from like having that mild YouTube success, because like when I got YouTube, like a YouTube partnership back then, like I would argue like that's when I knew like, oh, I can actually like do something with myself. And keep in mind, getting YouTube partnered these days, I'm not gonna call it easy, but I believe the bar for it got set lower and lower, just so more people can like get in on that. But back then, like I think it's like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers these days. Back when I got YouTube partnership, you had to have 10K. You had to have 10K subscribers. It was a lot. And, through that experience, it took a lot of hard work and years and years and years of experience. So going over to Twitch, I had to kind of start fresh. And some people watched me, and some people were like, I'm not moving from YouTube to Twitch. I'm sorry, Z, but I'm not going over to Twitch. I'm like, that's okay. And very slowly over the years, I've had some people be like, I watched you on YouTube. Now I'm here. I'm like, thank you. Well, welcome in. It's been, 5 years? Awesome. Take a seat. Yeah, no, with Twitch, maybe it's the overconfidence speaking, but like I've had that taste of like, yeah, I had that at one point. Let's go get it again. Like, I don't care how long it takes. I've been there. Let's do it again. I could totally pull it off. Now, as for when, will it be next year? Will it be 2027, 2028? Who knows? But I'm just gonna shoot for it. It's gonna I'm in my world. It's gonna happen. I don't know when, but I'm gonna make it happen, because I've made it happen before, and maybe that's just because I've had that experience of making it happen. So I know you said, Sam, like you don't know if you'll reach it or not. I again, it's not just the friend in me speaking, because I know you work hard. I'm going to say it more so from a working hard perspective. You absolutely can. Now, from a friend's perspective, have more confidence in yourself. I believe in you.
Well, it's funny because it's kind of how I see like both of you, because like that's one of the reasons why like Bolts doesn't know this, but like Bolts is like on my radar a lot of the times, and I'll be like kind of checking like how is the best you doing, and I'll check in on Z and B, because it's like there's just something there, and it's not it's not, as Bolts was saying, it's not an if, it feels more like a win. So it's like I'm just constantly just kind of like waiting for I'm just like waiting for it to happen. I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? And just watching from the sidelines, and I'm like, bestie, what's happening?
Sam likes to watch everybody. Confirmed.
I do.
Sam is waiting for me to climax.
I think they definitely want to dissect like the stream at hand and whatnot. Like they honestly, like if I can give a little bit of advice, and Sam will probably agree on this. Sometimes when I feel like I'm stuck as in like trying to innovate or learn from streaming, sometimes I will just go to other people's streams and like not copy, but like maybe like watching other people gives me like the idea of like, oh, like that's clever, that's a good idea. What if I and then my brain starts rolling. So it's not a bad idea to like go and watch somebody else, because like that's how a lot of great movies are made. Is like you'll be like, oh, this big director goes to make this big movie, and you're like, oh, yo, that movie was incredible, made $1 billion, fantastic, and they'll go, so and so was my inspiration. It might have been like a couple decades ago, but like it stemmed from them going out and watching somebody else in their work. So
because I'm very much a lurker, so like I'll be lurking in Bolt's stream. I've also found myself starting to lurk in like we're talking like 1,000 people watching like VTuber.
The big ones, yeah.
And I'll actually sit and I'll lurk and I'll find myself analyzing. I'm like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And I'll try to pick up on things of like, oh, like this is one thing that I've noticed that they were doing. I'm like, I want to kind of try that for my stream. And so I'll go to my stream and I'll kind of like try it out and see if it like it's like, as we were saying, like throwing like stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's kind of that thing. But like learning from the people around me and kind of finding things that I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'll take inspiration and I'll try it for my stream and see like if it works. If it doesn't work, okay, drop it, never do that again. If it works, I'm like, okay, can I expand off of it?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be a cookie cutter streamer, but it's like, this was such like a cool idea, so I want to like alter it to where it fits me.
You don't want to be a cookie cutter, you want to be the cookie.
I want to be the cookie bestie. But like learning from each other and like sharing knowledge, and I think that's very important.
Absolutely.
But also like being able to sit back and like analyze and learn from people is very important.
Absolutely.
So
agreed. I mean, I wouldn't be making YouTube shorts the way I do if it wasn't for I've pointed to various people that I look up to, like Rin Penrose. Rin Penrose was a they're indie now. They were corporate before. Pattern. They but ironically they blew up because they did a lot of shorts. I would say they were probably one of the first really, really big VTubers that grew on YouTube from doing scripted content. Their content was about like, what's it like being in a VTuber agency? What's it like working with management? In hindsight, saying it all out loud, there's so much irony in all of that.
Sweet
but
irony.
They grew by doing that for a few months before they even first started streaming. And I looked at those, and there was another VTuber whose name escapes me because I don't think she makes content anymore, but there was like another female VTuber that did like really ADHD pilled like short like scripted stuff on YouTube. And I looked at those two and I'm like, well, I can't talk about those things, but I like retro games. So what if I took that energy and I just applied it to something that I love? And that's really what it is half the time. It's finding something cool that someone else is doing and thinking, okay, how can I sort of put my spin on this?
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you. I completely agree with that.
That's all it really comes down to.
Because when I did like Let's Play stuff back then, like I saw like, oh, somebody's like, you know, again, primitive time frame. It was a different time frame, but like it was just you talked about video games while playing the video game. I went, wow, look at that person doing that. How can I do that? What's my angle? What can I do? And I come to realize one of my strongest suits was, you know, I would look up a video game on YouTube and go, who's done a Let's Play of this? And if it hadn't been done, I would go, I'll go do it because nobody's done it. This was early 2010. So like I'd go out of my way and go, well, you know, one of my biggest ones, I'd done a lot of Pac-Man content. So I went, let's look up Pac-Man World 2. Has anyone done Pac-Man World 2? And there was just barely anybody who would tackle that. So I tackled it and I got like massive views. Like people were like, oh, this is my child. This is great. You know, I was hitting a field that people hadn't touched before. So, you know, I had a good friend of mine not too long ago, maybe like a little less than a month ago, messaged me and they were like, hey Z, I went on YouTube and I was looking up old Xbox original games with a friend of mine one night, just late at night, and I was like, oh, well, look at this game, Whacked. That's a funny looking game. I went to YouTube search it, like I found your series, and I was like, yeah, because I went, nobody else had done it, so I went out of my way and I did it. And, you know, that was my niche back then was, you know, not only retro gaming, but it was like, let's do something that somebody else hadn't done. Because, you know, this was a period of time where you had your big YouTubers. So you'd have your Markipliers, your Game Grumps, you know, Jacksepticeye. If you did what everybody else was doing, it was accessible. It was hard to be found because, you know, somebody else bigger than you already did it, you know, you're going to be buried. So I was like trying to do the things that weren't buried. So I would tackle games that, you know, didn't get the spotlight they deserve, so I was like, I'll be the guy to do it. This game didn't get its justice, so that was kind of my niche back then. But yeah, sometimes it's looking at what somebody else has done and like, okay, how can I put a spin on that? Like how can I give my take and make it unique enough? Because, you know, I'm gonna, you know, this goes without saying, copying somebody's not good. Don't just blatantly copy somebody, you know. If you want to be inspired, if you want to take an idea and run with it, that's fine. But, like, make sure you kind of mold it into your own thing. Don't just, like, it's literally that meme of, all right, you can copy my homework. Just make sure it's not the, you know, just piece for piece the same. You know, don't just blatantly copy somebody, because I have seen time and time again, especially as YouTubers, people look at somebody big and go, oh, I'm gonna just do the exact same stuff they're doing. Like, you would see piece for piece, like, oh, Markiplier played, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's, I'll play Five Nights at Freddy's. Markiplier played, I don't know, we'll just make an example, Lawn Mowing Simulator, I'll play Lawn Mowing Simulator. Like, no. You know, play what you want to play, but, like, you can be inspired to play something because you saw somebody else play it. I've done that before, but, like, make sure you do what you want to do at Days, and don't just do what they do because it works for them. Do what works for you. You got to find what works for you, and that takes time sometimes. But it's like that. My favorite one is the dartboard analogy. It took me like 13, 14 darts on YouTube before a dart hit the red circle in the middle, and I get up out of my chair like, oh, like something hit, like hold on here, and then I start to throw more darts, and they may not hit that red immediately like I had just done, but I'm starting to understand how to get closer to that circle, like in the middle, and that's the beauty of it is, you know. And yeah, you're gonna have darts that don't hit. Sometimes you're gonna hit the frickin' wall, not the dartboard. That's fine, you know. But you gotta throw darts. You gotta start throwing darts until you figure out a pattern. And then once you get that pattern down, you know, it may not be perfect all the time, but you're gonna start getting closer to that center. There's a horseshoes analogy in somewhere in here, but let's not talk about horses. Sam will, you know, she'll gallop with that.
God,
I'm picking on you. I'm sorry. Well, half sorry.
Half sorry.
Half sorry.
Damn.
The other half of me knew what I was doing. But anyways.
But yeah, because there's a short, like, a series that I want to do, that I know Bolts was one of my inspiration, but there's also a few others that inspired me.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. Dang.
That's damn. Damn, you see
shot
this
down.
Sam, you are so much like, you've built such like a great community. There's nothing like you really need from me. All right, you have everything you need.
Listen,
all right,
listen. You can.
You're checking out my streams, like take notes. It's like, damn,
inspire me. And best.
Their stuff is so fun to watch.
You are fun to watch.
I stream and like talk about banging Rouge the Bat.
I know. I will be honest with you. I know plenty of people who'd pull up to that function. I'm gonna be 100% real with you. I've been to conventions where they're like, yo, if they got the body pillow, I'm there.
I keep getting DMs from friends that are like, Bolts, every time I stop by, I'm either nodding my head thinking, wow, that's really interesting, or man, they really said that.
They stare at your goggles and go, wow, that's so fascinating.
Yes, my goggles.
Absolutely,
my goggles and nothing else. My
you
big hanging goggles.
Your big hanging goggles. Some people pull up the my function for the wheel. Sometimes they like the wheel.
Your goggles bring all the boys to the yard. My goggles are better than yours.
And they're like, dang, Daniel.
I don't have cool goggles.
TwitchCon is coming up in October. I would love to go to TwitchCon. It's so far away from me, unfortunately, but I would love to go someday.
Oh, but yeah, Bolts, I want you to know that I think you're absolutely, and I do take inspiration from you, especially your clips. Oh my goodness! Like you're
honestly,
I want to do something similar to that.
I was gonna say,
and I was just like, damn, I'm like impressed, and I love your clips so much, Bestie. Holy crap!
I look at the
I'm like,
bolt
damn.
on your model for your hair accessories, and I'm just like my mind starts to think, oh my god, that's genius. What can I roll with now? Like my brain just wants to start rolling when I see stuff like it's simple. Like I know it sounds simple, but like it's just those like little details that I really appreciate. So I don't know. Give me just a second here. Let's see.
I needed my ego stroked today.
Yes, dude, I will stroke it.
It's my turn. My ego's like so inflated, but it needs to be bigger than what it already is. But Alexander, welcome on in. Is better than y'all.
Alex, hello.
Dang right. My milkshakes. I'll be right back. I'm just kidding. They've come to my yard. I gotta go protect my milkshakes.
Wait, I thought they were goggles.
Speaking of milkshakes, jingle jingle.
Jingle, jingle,
Jingle,
jingle,
jingle,
jingle,
jingle,
jingle.
jingle, jingle.
But yes, let's get to our next question here. So this will be a fun, quick answer, I'm sure. What's the best live stream you've done so far? Like, what's your favorite live stream you've ever done? And if you can't pick one, you can always pick one or two,
Oh God.
or three if you're like me who can't decide on
Oh,
one.
so
I think, funnily enough, two of my best streams were from this year, and I'm not like trying to toot my own horn, but I feel like that says something about how good of a year I've had personally. Is like I've had two really baller streams.
I had oh my.
You know what? Zenny said something in chat. Power Stone 2.
Oh.
Scratch that. Three baller streams. I've had three baller streams. Me and Zenny had a
One of-
pop off Power Stone stream. But anyways, go ahead. I'm not the one who's going to answer
You're
these.
fine. No, I think one of the best streams that I had was actually so the lovely bean who did my model goes by Cherish, and this was 2 years ago. I don't know if Z caught this stream.
I might
but
have. Let's see.
It was Cherish's birthday, and Cherish was streaming at the time, or like a streamer. He doesn't stream much anymore, but he's like, "Bestie, I really want to celebrate my birthday, and I want to do a fun stream, but I don't want to stream. Can I hijack your stream?" I was like, "Sure."
Sure.
And he's like, so he's like, "I love cursed games." I was like, "Yes, that's correct. He does. He loves like just the cursed games." And he's like, "You like horse games?" I was like, "That's debatable, but yes, go on." This man made me download a sketchy fucking like Apple App Store or whatever, so I could play this game on my computer. But we played a horse dating sim. And oh my God, I have clips to this day about that stupid freaking game. My goodness.
The clips live beyond the stream itself. That's how strong it was.
Were you there for that? I swear you were there.
I want to say I was. I recall that.
I think I have clips for it. I can send you a clip if people. It was so bad. It was the body of a horse, but the head of like a very average anime like guy that you could date, and it was like the worst thing ever. We had so much fun, but I left that stream with such a headache. But that was like the most fun I've ever had on a stream, ever. Like even chat was dying laughing. We were dead the entire stream.
That's so
but
good.
Yeah, that was. I will send you a clip and we can pass it on to Bolts, but that was my absolute favorite freaking stream of all time. I'll go find that clip.
That sounds good. All right, and while you find that clip, let's hear Bolts' side. What's one of your favorite streams you've ever done?
Don't know. It might have been like end of last year when I randomly decided, yeah, I'll play Shantae, this obscure as hell Game Boy Color game that didn't take off because it came out 2 years after the Game Boy Advance was out from an indie studio. I think it was just, but a lot of people showed up for it, and I think it was kind of like the perfect game for me because, what was it, Way Forward, who developed that game? You guys think I'm a gooner. I don't have the skill or artistry to animate jiggle physics on pixel art in 1999.
True.
Like, that's a certain level of commitment. Also, it was a fun experiment because someone put out like a public access Shantae model that was just fun to play with.
I saw that.
And it was a nice stream. I think it's still one of my more popular streams on like YouTube as well. That was just like kind of a fun time and made like a fun compilation video. I never like really walk away from streams thinking, oh man, that was my favorite, outside of like maybe collabs with people. But I don't know. I never really thought about what my favorite stream was.
Honestly, that's
There are
fair.
just some that stick out in my brain. It's like, oh yeah, that was a fun idea that paid off, kind of thing.
I think it's one of those things like sometimes I'll have streams where like it was such a good stream, I'll know it's like one of my favorites for all time, but then there will be some streams that like I didn't realize like just how peak they were until like more time has passed. I look back and I'm like, oh, that was actually a really good time. One of my best like collabs, or just genuine, just having a fun time, laughing your butt off. Maybe it's 3 in the morning and you're hallucinating. Like that's when you're like you've had a good stream, is when you're just absolutely having like a laughing fit or something. Like I've always loved those streams. More so the moment, if anything. But yeah, for me personally, so I would say like 2 things. I would say one of my favorite streams was Wario Land 4 back on Valentine's Day of this year. That I was going into it with I'm going to play half this game tonight, play the other half another time. It ended up turning into, I played the whole game in one night. I had so many raids come through, I had so many people come through, and like pulled up to the function. It was just Valentine's Day with Wario. And I don't know what it was, but like it was a game I didn't grow up playing, but I love like Mario and Wario Land, and I just never played 4. And it came to the Switch through the Nintendo Switch Online. I play that, and I don't know what it was, but it was such a fantastic stream. And everybody just had such a good time. It was one of the best feeling streams I had ever had. And then other than that, Pizza Tower. When I played Pizza Tower for the first time, I had played it about like a year after its release, thinking like, oh, I don't know if I'll be good at this game. Who knows? And so many Pizza Tower fans came through who had like never met before, who were like finding the channel and just having a good time and like loving seeing me go through the game for the first time. And my community was getting a kick out of it. And like that was a series that like if I could like go back and have that same feeling again, I would, because the Pizza Tower is such a fun time. And that's one of those games, like, if you've ever had a game where you're like, oh, I wish I'd played this frame 1, but I didn't play it when it, like, initially kicked off. You know, it's funny, I actually, like, looked over that project for years when it was in development, but when it came out, I don't know what I was doing at that point in time, but I just didn't buy the game day one. I was like, oh, I'll buy it later. You know, I'd love to get it now, but I'll buy it later. Played it a year later, I'm like, I should have played this sooner. But I'm glad I also didn't play it frame 1, because when I did that stream series, it worked out. It was one of my favorite streams I'd ever done. Also, to answer the question, you should play Anton Blast. I played Anton Blast once. I did like it. Didn't like it as much as Pizza Tower, but I did really like it. And there's a possibility that I might return to it. But it's very similar to not Anton Blast. It's similar to Pizza Tower. I'd argue if you've ever played Crash Bandicoot Entranced or Crash Bandicoot: The Big Adventure on Game Boy Advance, it's very similar to that on a higher scale, and it's very fun. It's very, very fun.
That game, it's very fun.
It's so good. Let's see, Sam Omega's out here.
Good.
We got free mods again, says Alexander. We got free mods again. Free mods. Omega's out here. Free mods?
Free mod?
Free mods.
Oh my goodness. No, the start of my stream today, we didn't have like any of our mods, and I'm like, guys, we're not restricted.
Omega
Burn
was
the
kind
chat
of
down.
out. That's true.
I did find the clip though from it. Oh, bestie.
It does.
That was so...
That game does have a bit of Cuphead inspiration, because some of the bosses have like animation that's very like they're kind of Cuphead pilled. Yeah, I'll have to go back to Anton Blast sometime. Honestly, that sounds like a fun time. But yeah, let's go into our next question. Let's see. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but what's the biggest challenge as a VTuber that you've had to overcome? I think we were kind of talking a little bit about this one, so we don't have to necessarily jump on it, but like we were kind of talking about like innovating the wheel and trying to figure that out. Like I'd argue, like for me personally, that's the hard part, is finding a niche or like something that really keeps people coming in and drawing them in. I feel like the hard part is making sure that they're constantly coming back for more. Because if you even just have like, I've always been in the field of like, if I have like one stream where I feel like I dropped the ball, I'm so worried that people aren't gonna like want to come back after that. Like, oh, that didn't turn out. Okay, well, I'm gonna go watch so and so. Then like, it's hard to get them back to your neck of the woods. I've always had that fear, which I think is BS, because at day's end, like I've had some bad streams and people like show back up the next time like, yo Z, like, okay, I need to have more confidence in the people who watch me, because they still love what I do through and through. But I feel like that's kind of the hard part, is like, you know, I don't like dropping the ball and, you know, all that such. But yeah, I'd say like the hard part for me is being innovative and keeping things fresh, because you're constantly having to go at it. But that's not a bad thing. I think it's a fun challenge. But I'd argue like that's the hard part, is keeping things fresh and trying to innovate.
I honestly kind of agree, because like I find joy in it. I'm very thankful that I do have like my niche, so I do really enjoy the corner that I've basically backed myself up into. because I'm not really restricted to like only a handful of games, because there's always like small indie developers working on like the small indie horror games. The issue is I have a really hard time finding the good ones. So definitely, I very much agree to, you know, having to come up with something that is going to bring chat back, chat interactive. What can I do to improve the stream more? So like everything that I very much agree, very very much agree. So I can't really add on to it. That was it.
No, that's fair, because like when I had asked the question, I was thinking like, oh, we already kind of talked about this a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to add on to that, Bolts, or if you don't, that's perfectly fine. We can always move on to the next one. But was there any like challenges that you kind of find in VTubing to be like, you know, well, yeah, challenging, I suppose.
It's kind of like what I said before. It's just finding ways to make what you're currently doing stand out and more creative. Sometimes it's a little thing. Sometimes it's as simple as tweaking your audio or adding some shading to things on stream to make it pop out more. Other times it's, hey, here's a pregnancy redeem on my stream. I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh.
I think it's less a case of like I've reached a point where it's less a case where the hard thing is finding out what to do and trying to figure out what quote unquote works, because you never know sometimes what'll work until you do it. But doing the things is like half the fun in and of itself. So I don't really have anything more to add than that, because it's kind of just an extension of what I was saying before about needing to reinvent that wheel.
Right. No, that's perfectly fair. Let's see here. So I have about 3 questions left, and then after we answer those 3, we can like move on to that one topic we might want to talk about. But what's your favorite memory as a VTuber? Was it a debut? Was it receiving the model? Like, what was your favorite part about this whole shebang, this whole journey? Did you have like a favorite memory?
Definitely the re-debut.
The re-debut. That's fair. That's fair.
That was just like a nearly cried. Very special day. I took off of work because I knew I would be a nervous wreck before that stream, and it was just seeing the onslaught of people that showed up, new and old. It reminded me that I was loved, basically. Yeah. That I was like valued, and it was, I look back on it, it's like, oh, maybe I could have planned things better, maybe I could have added more things or whatever, but just the fact that it did as well as it did, and so many people showed up and said how they were proud of me, it's like, it kind of like, oh, this is like the next step on that not if but when journey. That I'll always hold that as a special place in my heart.
Honestly, fair. I've actually got a fairly similar answer, but I will let Sam go first. What's your favorite memory as a VTuber?
Mine was actually showing off my model for the first time.
Heck
going from a PNG tuber to like a VTuber. I did it on my birthday.
See, I didn't know PNG was an option when I started out, so I was just like a half-body VTuber. But like looking back at it now, if I could start out, I probably would have started out as like PNG.
Yeah, I did my own like PNG, so I did a whole bunch of like outfit changes for my PNG. But awesome, my community was so excited to see the model, and I remember I was so excited to like show off my model. One of the big things that I was just to show off was I had boob physics and I had feet. I was so excited.
Honestly, fair.
I was so excited. But that was
not
probably
not the downplay, but it's kind of like getting a new toy and like just
it is
like having fun with it. Absolutely,
it is. But yeah, I just remembered the joy of my first time ever doing a stream, because that was my first ever time streaming with that model. And just the joy from it. I would love to have that joy back. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get that joy back. You know, getting the rebrand model, and I'm so excited to experience that joy again. But yeah, that was probably my best time with the model.
Honestly, fair. I had a somewhat similar answer to Bolt. I think it was my 2 year anniversary of being a VTuber, and I remember getting an update to the current model I have now. And I think this was like right before I moved over to Twitch. I was still on YouTube for like another month or so, like a couple months. And I remember like, I mean, like again, I had some like mild success on YouTube. So when I was still streaming on there, I went for my 2.0 debut, or like my update, and I was getting ready to play Sonic Adventure, which is my favorite Sonic game of all time. And I had about 60, 70 people pull up to the function just saying the sweetest things. And I actually did cry on stream. I don't do that very often, but I did cry on stream. And it meant a lot to me that people were just very sweet and just saying the kindest things towards me. And I was probably going through some stuff at like whatever job I had at that point in time. So, people don't know the lives that we have behind the scenes, like when we're going out and having to do this now, like whether you're moving, you got a job, you got school, I don't, whatever you're going through, you don't know everything that goes on in the background necessarily, unless you like say everything. But yeah, like I'd probably been going through like my job, or I was, again, I came off that depression like a year or two later, when I was getting into VTubing, and it was very moving. It was very moving to see like there was still hope and reasons to keep going and keep striving. And I went from somebody who just like was a little broken and hurt and didn't know where my own strength was, to super inflated ego. I've got like four super forms. I'm just kind of this like little fun little firecracker gremlin now, and it's fun. It's fun. Again, you kind of find yourself through VTubing and streaming a little bit, so it's great. But yeah, I'd say my favorite memory is probably that one, and then. Yeah, and on top of that, the two streams I said that were my favorites. Like, those are just streams I really look back at fondly, so, yeah. Also, a bit of a shout out to the very few times Sam's done the VR chat streams. I kind of hold those near and dear. I was able to meet Cast through that particular stream, and he's a good bean. We love Cast.
Oh, I love him so much. He's absolute fantastic.
He really is. I saw him in your chat earlier, and he was giving the ex-wife jokes. I'm like, I love him when he does the ex-wife jokes. They're so
like,
funny.
Really, damn bestie.
And he says, "Wait, did I miss your answer for the best stream?" See, my favorite streams, like minus the Crash Team Rumble ones for collabs, like because those were really fun. I had answered. I really liked doing the Pizza Tower series I did and the Wario Land 4. Again, Wario Land 4 was like February of this year, so like that was like one of my favorite streams ever. I mean, like, again, not to toot my own horn. I'm somebody who, like, I always go, like, oh, this is the best year. It ain't going to get any better. I feel like every year for me personally has been a better year as a VTuber. Like, this has been my best year yet, and that's a good thing. I feel like that's good to know, like, you're constantly getting better at what you do and all that kind of such. So I don't know about you guys, but this, so far, through the halfway point of this year, I've really enjoyed this year personally.
I've enjoyed this year. I've definitely had learning experiences, but I feel like that's for the best, so I can better myself. So I'm hoping to better myself because of these experiences this year. So next year I will be hopefully a better person for it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Knowledge is power, is the way I see it. If you can learn from your experiences and even the mistakes you make and whatnot, like that is, keep it and run with it. Keep running with it.
I've definitely made some mistakes, and I'm learning. I'm learning from it.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. So this is the question I was kind of talking about earlier that we're finally dipping into. How expensive has your VTuber journey been, and have we been able to cut costs somewhere?
Yes.
So we can dip into that a little bit. Now, again, you don't have to give out like numbers or anything like that. Just, we're just kind of talking about like, how much really goes into it, or it can even be just the workflow behind it. So
I feel like I'm one of those exceptions where I didn't pay a lot because I am an artist. So, and also I was in the right place at the right time. I didn't pay a cent for my model. So I was there, right place, right time, meeting the right people, and getting a free model. All of my emotes I did myself. All of my backgrounds I did myself. The alerts that I have were actually like sketches turned into animations from like someone who was just sketching, and I asked to turn them into like little GIFs.
I remember when you got those. I remember that.
Yeah. So I feel like I am the exception here. especially with like the rebrand, the only thing that I'm paying for, because I'm doing everything else myself, is model art, and that's gonna be like $500 or $600. But I think I'm gonna add in a little bit more as like a thank you.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, so I'm looking at spending about like $700 to $800 on loan.
Heck
And then
yeah.
I'm also paying someone to do my emotes. Other than that, I'm doing everything. So I definitely feel like I'm the exception. So the rebrand's probably going to cost around like $1,000, and that's really...
No, honestly, that's
So-
fair. That's why I was really looking forward to this question, because when we were talking about You're Into the Woods a little bit earlier, I was like, that's gonna be a really like fun, unique answer. And it,
For me, it's really unique, yeah.
like big shout out, by the way, to those who are able to like make their own models, and like if they make the art and the rigging like all themselves, like that is something I wish I had the ability to do. Like you could argue, oh, you can go out there and like learn it. Well, not true, but like I'm also in the field. Like I don't mind paying somebody who knows what they're doing. Supporting fellow artists. Like I'm comfortable in that area on a personal and just continuing what I do. But yeah, no shout outs to those who are able to like make their own model, rig it, assets, whatever it is. That's such a cool thing to be able to do, and I really respect people like that. Like we were kind of talking about Sunny a little bit earlier. Sunny like makes their own model and their own costumes, and like that's awesome. Like you could just kind of make whatever you want on the fly, and that doesn't just come out of nowhere. Like that takes talent and a lot of discipline and learning. That's its own like little journey, and I just really respect that field. But yeah,
I'm actually because I've been learning how to rig, and I'll be rigging my rebrand model. But I've actually been practicing rigging, and I'm hoping to get 2 live 2D models made mine. And I'm doing both of these completely free for 2 different. So 2 people are going to be getting 2 free live 2D from me. As a thank you for being my guinea pig and let me kind of practice and learn how to do more complicated models.
mm-hmm.
So that's also really fun, being able to kind of like pass it along, like do something good since I got my model, and being able to pass that along to other people. So
Heck
yeah, that's less. Yeah, that's the last thing I would to add. But
No,
yeah,
that's a good,
so
really good answer.
It could be really expensive unless you know how to do art. Then you could save your.
There's definitely a way to cut costs. Absolutely.
There is absolutely ways to cut costs. It's just.
Like I'll throw you out. I'll throw you out an example right now. And I'm not necessarily like ashamed to say this, but I love having like custom layouts, custom stream schedule. Like custom everything. It's great. The studio, for say that we're in right now on this like podcast. This was not something I like asked someone to make. This is something I bought off Etsy. There are people who go out there and make preset stuff that people can buy on a constant and can use for their own streams, like chat widgets and this and that. So yeah, sometimes it can be a cost in its own right. But instead of me going out of my way and paying somebody like $100 to make something custom, sometimes there's like, here's a custom like chat widget. Somebody's selling it for like $10-15 or whatever. You just got to go on Stream Elements, do this and that, yada yada. I use like the Persona chat for my normal streams and whatnot. People really like my chat box, but I didn't like ask someone to custom make one for me. That costs a lot more money. Yeah, I went and supported somebody who like put an asset out there, and that's not only a cheap way to get around it, but a good way to save some money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bolts. I suppose that, let's get back to that question. So how expensive has your VTuber journey been, and were you able to ever cut cost anywhere? If the answer is no, that is okay, because in all honesty, like I could probably talk to you about it after like stream or at some other point in time, but I have also been in the department.
No, it's not that I won't
it
answer the question. It's just like very different from Sam's, because I'm not an artist. I'm not an artist like Sam or Sunny, and it is probably
we're similar.
Yes,
we have to go after people.
I mean, we could always like do things on our own to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my cost is probably put into hiring editors.
Fair.
It's ironically, I've probably spent less money on artwork and stuff since my new debut than I did before, because since my design leans more towards like a cartoony and exaggerated aesthetic, those art pieces that enunciate those features, they are inherently cheaper than like anime portraits and stuff like that a lot of people usually go for. So, and getting more involved in the furry community has allowed me to get in contact with some amazing artists. Sometimes I make deals with them, especially like if I'm voice acting and doing stuff like that. So that's been fine. The model was something that I had to put a lot of money and effort into. That's why it took 6 months, because it was basically me working hard and trying to raise the money for that, and then trying to like work up to that point. I won't give the exact number, but it was basically I'm gonna say it was triple what I did for my first model, but that's because my first model was more on the cheap side. Because that was more about like cost efficiency and everything, but I paid to make sure that like everything was exactly how I wanted it to be. That was like my really first big investment. Since then, as far as cutting costs go, that's something I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to like find like a good pool of artists that like don't break the bank too much, but I can kind of get consistent work from. And I've been fishing around for like editors and content managers that I could pay like a monthly salary to, that can reach the output that I ideally am looking for. But unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to rely on a lot of my own editing and my own time. I am much more the person who would rather work multiple jobs to pay the people that know what they're doing than just like sit down and try to learn the skill myself.
Yeah,
I just don't have a lot of confidence in my skill. Or it's like the Captain America Falcon thing, where it's like, sure, I could do that much slower than people that have like perfected that skill. And hey, I get to pay people that want money, and everyone is happy then.
True. We do love to support fellow artists, so
me, it's more a case of like looking at expenses. I'm very bad at managing my expenses, but it's more like
same.
I want something where I feel like I need something for a specific. I'm trying to be more specific about everything that I want. And it also doesn't help that I have like still real world expenses and stuff like that. Like my brother's wedding just passed, and my first really big paycheck from Twitch, most of it went to my brother for his wedding. And it's like,
I guess, yeah.
That's nice, but man, I could have done so much with that.
I felt that. It's funny because like I have a subathon coming up in August, and I'm kind of like, I'm gonna put it out there as like, oh, the money for that goes towards like the next big project I have, which it is the case, but it's also like kind of healing money because I've already kind of like dipped a bunch of like dough into that kind of thing. So it's, it is going to go towards like the next big thing, but like, yeah, what I've been doing has been completely out of pocket for the most part, and that it adds up big time.
It really does.
It
is. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's been difficult, but, trying to find that balance with all the other real world stuff coming up. I have another wedding coming up in like 2 weeks.
God. Everyone's getting married.
Cool, another expense that I have to like
more cake.
Manage
or whatever they're having.
More cake. Yay. So it's one thing after another. It's kind of one of those things where like, if I only had to worry about making content, then I would be great. But because there's so many other things
dude,
that I need to do, or so many other expenses that kind of come up. And this is coming from someone who is in a decent place, because I still live with family and I still work through that. It's like,
same here actually.
Same. Listen, in this economy, in this economy, it is okay to be living with family.
Absolutely,
listen, there is nothing to be ashamed. It is freaking expensive out there.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, if either of you two at any point in time, if you're like in the field of like, you ever need like emotes or anything like that, I've been heavily dipping into like so many freaking people and figuring that out. And there are some people that like, they can give a good deal for something that's, pretty high quality. Because I don't want to like, not to sound mean, but like sometimes someone will be like, oh, I'm charging this much for emotes. It's like $5 or $10. You kind of get what you pay for. But I'm not like, I don't want to go out of my way. Like, I've seen some people who are like, oh, this is my emote. I'm like, oh, it's fun. I wouldn't mind that. I go to check and it's like 60 for one. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd pay that much for this. And, like, again, price your stuff the way you want to price your stuff. I'm not necessarily judging. But for me personally, like, I really take budget into factor. And there are some people that like, I recently, there was somebody I found who had that, like, you know, oh, if you buy one emote, it's like this much money, but if you buy 3, it's this much, and it's a deal. And I go, oh, they're really high quality. I'm going to go for the 3. I get the 3, and I go, oh, these turn out really well. I'm going to work with you again. And then that becomes, instead of 3, you got 6. And that's where the budgeting comes in, is like, you know, you've got someone who does a really good job, you like their price, you like what their work is, and you work with them. Like, I've only worked with, I think, like 1 or 2 people recently that, like, I went, oh, you did a really good job. I'm coming back in for seconds for this next big project. But everyone else I've worked with were very, like, you know, they do good, but it was like, I wanted, like, the one thing from them, and then I have to go find somebody new, and it's a lot of research. It's a lot of research, and finding people in DMs, and I'm sure both of you, you know, at various points have had talks with like multiple people about trying to figure this and that out. You know, it's a lot of communication.
I actually haven't. So
okay.
this is the part where it's very interesting to hear. That's why when I was coming to you, because Chad doesn't know this, but I was kind of about like emotes and asking kind of for help to kind of keep an eye out, and I didn't realize how much went into it, because I've always done my own like. So just the amount of, like, as you were saying, research and time and effort, like, go and search for all these artists, that was kind of new to me. I was like, huh? Is this what it's like?
No, that's fair.
So I was just really confused, and I didn't know what to do or, like, where to start. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go do my own emotes, I guess. It's fine. Yeah.
Hey,
but it's
that.
interesting. It's very interesting to hear, like, the other side, because it's something that I don't think about very often, because it's more like I just mind my own business, and I'm like, oh, I don't like my emotes, I'll just redo them. I'll find time.
Feel the exact same way, and in all honesty, again, if you have that ability, I respect it. It's really, really cool that you're able to do that. I'm in the field of, like, you know, I could go out of my way and try to make some of my own stuff, but, like, I just know, like, it's not going to turn out how I want it, or how, like, you know, it could be so much better. I'm gonna just cut through the fog and cut to the chase. I'm gonna make that money at a job or somewhere, and, you know, make sure I can give it to somebody who can do a good job, and then that's supporting them, and, you know, that's great in its own right. So I'm very much in that same department as, like, Bolts. You know, you find the right people, and, you know, you're willing to work hard for a different way, and then you get what you really wanted. So
I think it's. So I honestly think, like, sorry, my words absolutely escaped me. Words went
good.
Burr.
They like went out one ear and the other, and you're trying to push them back, and like, up, get back in there.
Yeah, I'm like, I started talking, and my brain went 5 different directions. I was like, what was I trying to say?
I just realized I think all 3 of us have very perky ears on our models.
We do.
We do.
But basically, both sides of the story are like double-edged sword, because when it comes to you guys, it's about money, finding, but you know it's gonna get done.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to someone like me who does my own stuff, it's not about the money, it's about the time.
Ooh, no, so I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'll be honest with you, that is another benefit. Like, when I go to pay somebody for, like, oh, emote work or this and that and whatnot, I'm glad that, like, I can support them, but on the same hand, like, I can, like, go to my actual job, do my job, get an email or a message or something like, oh, I just finished something with you, and, like, that's such a good feeling of, like, oh, they can be working on stuff for me while I'm also, like, going out there and continuing to make the grind and the money and all that kind of stuff. So, like, that's a part of it that I do appreciate. It's like, I don't have to, like, come home and go, okay, I've just finished work for the day, now to make, you know, more stuff. I'm gonna be exhausted.
Yes.
I don't have the talent behind it. Like, man,
Yes.
I'd rather just give it to somebody who can. That's just me.
For
You could call it quote unquote lazy, but it's not. You know, you're going out there and you're working hard still. You're just taking a different avenue, and there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, it's probably a lot more common.
It is, but, like, for example, like let's say Bolts like commissions 2 people, like, one for emotes and one for background. Like, Bolts could have, like, both of these just show up on their doorstep, and I'm over here, I have to figure out which one I focus on. I'm like, all right, am I gonna do emotes first, or am I doing backgrounds? And then I can only focus one at a time. I can't get both done at the same time. And, like, the rigging, that I have to mainly focus on that. So it's either, what are you going to sacrifice, your money or time? That's what it comes down to.
Right. Time is money, and money is time.
Yeah, so I think that's why this is a very interesting topic because we can see both sides of that coin.
Yeah.
So that's why I was really interested about.
That's totally fair. I'm honestly really like I'm just being honest. I'm really glad that I was able to pull both of you in for this particular first, like, what's it like to be a VTuber stream, because like I figured I could get really interesting and good answers if I pulled in two people rather than one. Like, don't get me wrong, each way would have been like interesting, but having these like contrasting differences makes it so much more interesting to like bounce back with. And I share similarities with Bolts, and sometimes I share similarities with Sam, or maybe you two share similarities and maybe I'm not in that boat. Like, that's interesting to me that we all have like similarities and differences. So I'm glad I got you both here for that.
Yeah,
this has been very enlightening. You got blown to pieces. Oh yeah, the stream avatar is down below. I believe the little bunny down there won. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was kind of watching them go to war.
I saw somebody earlier be like, "Oh, I was so close to winning." I'm like, "I'm sorry, it was the Goku spray. He kind of blew you to smithereens."
Damn. Damn.
But yeah, so and then that's going to get us to our final question, and then we can kind of talk about that one thing. Is there any advice you could give as a VTuber / streamer, and if you do have any, what would you give? Like, what's some advice you would give to somebody if they were like starting out, or heck, it can even be like they're currently a streamer? What's like the best advice you could like give to somebody getting into being a VTuber? I'm gonna throw out a lot. I'm gonna throw out at least like the number one thing I'm gonna say here. Like, I know it's not much of an answer, but do as much research as possible. I'm not saying like you have to like go bug like actual VTubers and such. Like, you can if somebody's willing to give answers, but like Google, YouTube, all these places, like research. Do heavy amounts of research. Look into it a bunch. Like, if you're at work and you're on a break and you're like, oh, I'm wondering how VTube Studio works. Look up a VTube Studio tutorial. Look up, the artist that you would like to get a VTuber model from. Just do mass amounts of research. Research is your best friend. But I know
research is your best friend.
I know that's not like the answer, but like that's like one piece of advice I could give, because like you can come up and bug me like, Zonic, how do you recommend OBS or Streamlabs? I can give you like an answer, but like make sure you go out of your way and look this up on like YouTube or somewhere else. Like, you can get a lot of answers from different avenues and learn a lot from that. So yeah, but yeah, what about you guys? What advice would you give?
I'm sorry, this question is so hard because there's like I would want to do like a whole quiz on this.
Yeah.
So picking one thing is extremely difficult. But I guess one of the things that I'm dealing with now is I don't know how to properly say it, so I might ask for help. But like, especially when it comes to VTubing, your model can be extremely important because that is your mascot and that's what represents you.
Yeah.
So making sure you take that time for like character design is extremely important, because people are going to judge you off of that based on your VTuber alone. Because you had to think, when someone jumps into your stream, the first thing that they're going to see is what your stream looks like, your model, and quickly like 5 seconds of the vibe that you were providing, and they're going to quickly judge you based off of that if they're going to stay or they're. So that's why I don't like to say this, because again, don't judge people by their looks, but sadly on the internet that's kind of how it rolls.
Well, it kind of goes back to all entertainment,
design,
movie poster, DVD covers, game covers, or even like a thumbnail on YouTube. The thing that attracts you is the thing that represents its front cover. And that, for me personally, like when I go to look up something, it really depends on that cover. Sometimes if it looks like it didn't have care put into it, then I'm probably not going to watch it or click it or pick up the movie. But if the movie's got a funny little front cover, I might give it a whirl, But yeah,
I guess that'd be my big advice, mainly because that's what I'm struggling with. Because if you look at these two lovely beans, in my opinion, they work really well with the content that they provide. When you see a bright yellow hedgehog doing a game, that's odd. That's kind of
weird. And like I feel like it's impossible. Like if you go to like if I make myself like a little scribble platformer guy, like that'll work in the content I make. But if I go to play a horror game, unless they do something extra
it's like
for
very jarring.
Like there's not going to be like a workaround for that unless you just come up with like a completely new model for that, which you can. But for the most part, like if you're just going to run with the one model, it can kind of be difficult to like fit for one particular thing. But that's okay. fit it mostly for
Yeah.
the niche you're gonna aim for if you can help it. I saw Doris answer in chat, play around with the free models on VTube Studio, and when I would say like that kind of goes back to the budget thing. I'd say if you start out as a VTuber, but you've never done commentary before, you've never done OBS, you've never done any of these things, I would say go out of your way to like, get a PNG tuber if you're gonna start out. I wouldn't just say like go get a VTuber model unless you absolutely know from the get go you kind of have a little bit of what it takes, and you would like a model and you're taking it very seriously. You're not just going to give up a couple months in. Maybe you can look into a model, but like I would say if you could start off with like a PNG tuber, or heck, again, the free model. There's plenty of free models out there that you can like test out with and whatnot, and just get something that represents you decently. Start off with that. And test the grounds, and if you got something going, then look into that character design like Sam was talking about. Something that really represents you and that works for your content. If I make like a little hee hee ha ha little scrimblow fella, but most of my content's going to be civilization, I don't know if that's going to pan out all that well. That's a completely different game than what your model is going to look like. So I'm not saying,
especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm not necessarily like telling people like that's what you have to do. Like, do what you want to do. At days, and it's the ball's in your court. But I'm gonna say this: put some time and thought into it. Because when I started out, I did not put as much time and thought into it as I thought I would. Like I just jumped in, and then once I started taking it a bit more seriously, I had to really put time and thought into it, and that also required, unfortunately, a bigger budget. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go out there and spend thousands of dollars to have something work out. But if you're gonna jump into something and you're gonna take it seriously, put as much into it as you would, like if I'm gonna pour like $1,000 on a model, you better have that desire for that model, not just it's I gotta have that model or I'm gonna be a failure of a VTuber. Like you can't have that mindset. You can't just bank off the model. I've seen people dip $3,000 something on a model, thinking like that's all it's gonna take to get them somewhere. It takes way more than just having the nice model on you. You have to have the consistency, whatever it is you're gonna be doing. You gotta have that drive. You can't just have a model do the talking. You have to have the person behind it. You know what I mean? Like a model's nice, but you also have to have that drive and that oomph to keep going.
But yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. Character design can be very important if you have your niche and you know what you're going for. Character design is very important. That's something that you need to focus on and spend time on. But
absolutely.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Cool. All right, Bolts, you got any advice you'd like to give?
This is something that I learned a little bit. There was like a transition period between when I debuted and when I first showed off my new design. And a friend got me this really cute, Sam, you've seen it. It's like the little, because I've had it on your channel when we collabed. It was the little like crane chibi.
Oh, yeah! I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I loved it. Because it was sort of like a prototype. It was almost like the first evolution of my main model, like the Pokemon evolution. I should do like a little thing like that. But anyway, and I was having fun just using that over my 1.0 model. So that was the model that I used all the way up until I debuted, and it taught me something. This might sound like a little mean, but I don't think you need a super expensive model or anything to be successful.
No, not at all.
And case in point, like I'm following people like literally right. If I just scroll down my like follow list on Twitch, because I have Twitch open to look at chat, there's like a third of the people there that have so many views with PNGs.
Yes.
Or really standard stuff.
I saw one the other day where someone was pulling in like 60 people and they had a PNG.
So one of my besties, Spooky Cat Kevin, who's a PNG cat, hit partnered like a few months ago. But yeah, absolutely, that's why I agree. All right, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
there's some people who have hit partner before they've even debuted a model.
I've seen that. I'm like, huh?
Because like they just put out, there's another retro streamer I followed called Yeffy, who is like a seal, and she did a bunch of like fun retro videos on YouTube with just a PNG and some expressions.
I feel like I've seen
blew up on
stuff,
YouTube.
Sure.
moved over to Twitch, was already hitting partner numbers,
The
and it was after
VTubers.
partner that she debuts the model. I feel like this is more common in like furry spheres
That's
than
fair.
anything, where like the appeal of the design itself kind of stands out a bit more. But you can get like a PNG tuber with different expressions for like $50 if you go to the right artist. And hell, Shindings. Shindings is someone that I really look up to. Is a huge creator that is like blown up in the past 2 years because of how they just fuck around and play in OBS and do all of these different chat redeems and creative interactive experiences. They have not even like a super elaborate PNG. They have like an OC drawing from like Nichijou, that anime, which was like known for having a really simple art style. And I'm looking at their thing right now. They have over 200 views live right now. Yeah. You do not need big and expensive. You need, if you can't be entertaining or interesting with just a PNG, you're not going to be that much entertaining or interesting with a super expensive model.
Yeah.
That might sound a bit mean, but that does, and yes, aesthetic can carry you a lot, but it's like it's a multiplier. It's not an additive.
Yeah.
10 times 0 is still 0. If you still can't bring something interesting and entertaining to the table, then all the bells and whistles are still only going to get you so far. If anything, if you can prove that you can do all of that without that fancy stuff, you're probably going to save a lot more money in the long run anyway.
True.
So try to min-max what you can. It's like, try to beat the boss with a stick before you like wail on that big dark sword.
Because, it's kind of, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, because the skills you get from like beating the boss with that stick are going to be way more valuable than just trying to one-shot it with a big sword.
True.
Because Zonic said that, a while back, one of our questions, that you didn't know PNG tubers existed, and you would have done that first. It's kind of like that. Listen, you do not have to get the big flashy model right off the bat. I kind of don't recommend it. Like I more recommend kind of
waters.
Like starting off simple, seeing what you can do with that and growing off. That is very, because again, I started as a VTuber and then went up to VTuber. I would eventually also like to get 3D, but that's going to be like way down the line.
Yeah.
But like, go on, No,
I was gonna say like I know I say like I want to start out as PNG. Like I lucked out because like you know how like you say like, oh, you got yours for free. Like mine wasn't free, but mine was cheap, all things considered, early on. I was a half body VTuber with no expressions, but it was $200 to get started, and like that wasn't a terrible way to start per se. And again, it got the ball rolling for me to figure out like live 2D and whatnot. But I already had previous like commentary experience just talking by myself doing YouTube videos, because when you did that, unless you did co-commentary, you were just talking to a screen. So being able to talk with chat, I was like, oh, this is easy for me. I can like talk with people while also doing this. This like helps me out like with my talking. And so I already had like prior like experience. So having prior experience for like years, and then having like a half body VTuber model, like I absolutely made it work from the get-go. But I was a bit of a special case. And I will say, like we were talking about like the whole budget thing earlier, believe it or not, some people wouldn't think about it at first glance, but 3D is actually kind of like, depending on the person, you can get a really nice 3D model and it not cost you $1,000-something. I've currently gotten with somebody to like work on a new thing for me that's in the 3D realm. And I think I broke about $250, which is like close to the original live 2D model I had. But it was a 3D model, and they have really high quality work. And I'm like, oh, imagine having that and running with that for a couple of years and just making it work. You absolutely can. And it also kind of goes back to that whole like, make sure you get your character design down right and whatnot. Like if you get it down right and you get something you like from the get go and you roll with that for a couple of years, get some mileage off that. And just, make sure it's something that you really like. And if it works for you, like when I go to like get my next new big thing, I don't want to have to get my next new big thing for a while. Like I don't, it's expensive when you really dip that much money into it. I don't want to have to like go out and find somebody else, for another couple $1,000s. I want to work with the same person. So, it was funny because when I was wanting to work with Sunny, I was like, yeah, I can't wait to work with Sunny. And I've come to like, know them a bit more in recent. And they're like very much about like, oh, they made a new costume. Like, you're perfect. Because I'm, for those who know me, I'm very big on like getting new costumes and whatnot. And I know they're like a very busy bean. But like, I know like they're going to be perfect for that kind of thing going forward because they also like costumes. Get the model that you like. And then, you can kind of spice up with costumes. Costumes do cost money, usually, unless you make your own stuff, like I said. But when you have costumes, you're not having to go out there and spend, a couple $1,000s for another new model. Because I've had people say, like, Zonic, why don't you ever get, like, a VTuber model of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be, that's going to have to be its own model. You got that, new model money because it's like $1,000, $2,000. It ain't free half the time. So like, people are like I love the enthusiasm behind an idea, but like, why don't you ever get I've had some people say like, why don't you get like a Ratchet and Clank VTuber model like before? This was like a year ago. Like, oh, come up with like a Ratchet and Clank VTuber model, or come up with like a Mario or whatever the heck it is. I'm sitting there like, that's a neat idea. You got like $1,000, $2,000 something dollars in your back pocket because what I'm gonna have to aim for isn't gonna be easy. Or the famous one. Oh, can we get a Werehog Zonic someday? Which I do technically have on the technicality, but not as a model, but like as a mod or whatever. But anyways, if that was gonna be live 2D, it wasn't gonna work on the model I have right now because that's gonna be a completely different look and style. And I kind of I look at them like I would love to. You got $1,000 in your back pocket because that ain't happening. It's gonna take time too. It ain't gonna just show up on my door. It's gonna take time to make. So you gotta consider the following. These things again take time and money, or at least if not money, work. You're gonna be putting in work. I mean, Sam, you were talking about that.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with you.
About what the
Omega, let me just send you 2K for your new model. I appreciate you, Omega. Thank you.
I think someone brought up a good analogy in chat. It's the Iron Man thing. If you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it.
Yes.
If you're nothing without the $5,000 VTuber model, then you shouldn't have it.
Mm-hmm. Imagine having.
I think it all kind of feeds into the conversations we were having, where it's like, if but like a PNG is not interesting, then make it interesting. You can make it interesting. You can go in OBS for free and animate a PNG tuber. Look up tutorials online. You can do fun overlays. You can do fancy little stuff here and there all over the place. If anything, I almost think people should do that. I think as an experiment, like try streaming for like a month with just a PNG tuber, or a really, really like low effort type of model, or a really, really cheap low effort type of model. And if you can't be entertaining with just that, then there might be a lot more things you need to change than just your model. And I know that might sound like that'll probably sound mean to people in a way where it's like, oh, are you saying I'm not entertaining? It's not up to me to decide whether or not you're entertaining. It's up to the audience that you want to cultivate whether or not you're entertaining. And if the audience that you are looking to entertain, because that's another thing you got to keep into consideration. Who are you trying to attract? What kind of audience are you trying to bring in? If they are not finding you entertaining, then either you need to find a new audience or figure out what you are doing wrong, because it's kind of the customer is always right in a way. Like, they're the ones that are going to prop you up. And if you're not giving anything to them, then why should you expect anything back from them?
Honestly, that's a fair point. I've thrown up an example on my stream, but like I have like a live 2D reactive that I have that was done in like, I think
that's
VTuber,
adorable.
like
I love that.
That is Plus. Perfect.
But this costed me like $50. But this, like, imagine this being my strat right here. You easily could have ran with this, and it moves a little bit. Like, why not? Like, you wouldn't be breaking bank. Anywhere between, like, I think it was like $50 for me, but it could have been like $50, $100. That wouldn't be breaking bank. You put that like in the corner of your stream while you're playing whatever you're playing, you can get mileage out of that. You can get far. So that's a really good example. Like, if I had this from the get-go, like if this was an option, I probably would have ran with that before I had a model, if I had choice.
That is what I did.
I love the little subtle animations there.
I appreciate that. Cute. It's very fun.
But
I don't use it that often, unfortunately.
So cute.
But yeah, that's like my reactive when I'm on other people's streams. So I thought, yeah, that's a fun way to go about it. But yeah.
Sorry, Sam, I think I cut you off before. What were you trying to say?
Oh, yes. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, me?
Did you have anything else?
Yeah.
Or?
Oh, I was just saying because that's where I started. I made my own PNG tubers, and basically I made a whole bunch of fits. And if I was streaming a certain game, I would like the night before, I would make myself like a custom like little outfit that would fit that game.
Oh my
Because
god.
I made so basically what Z would do with VTubers is what I would do for my PNG. Like you can do stuff with a PNG tuber that you can't with at like a faster pace.
I did something
So-
similar for a collab once for a reactive where I just had my old model in the
Yes!
Neon Genesis Evangelion Garfield shirt, which I do own the shirt IRL, by the way, which is why I put it on the model. This is like my old model,
You
but I
could do a lot in Photoshop, yeah.
You sure can. I
Yep.
remember it's not the best job in the world for the record, but I remember like being a part of a Garfield collab and I did this as like a bit, and you could easily like just conjure up something for funsies out of nowhere and roll with that as like a little hee hee ha ha, and people will get a kick out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
But yeah, no, that's what I was just saying that yeah, there are so many options out there to get your foot in the door when it comes to becoming a VTuber.
there's so many options now. Like from the get
There-
go,
there
it was
is.
so far and few
Arguably too
between.
many.
I almost went the human VTuber route at first because there was nobody who really did like the Sonic stuff like for a good second, and then I ended up finding Kala, and she did a fantastic job and only got better and better. And again, she retired recently from doing that kind of thing, but she's moved on to like new endeavors, and I'm proud of them for that. But in all honesty, like yeah, it can be a little scary. I'm gonna like detour a little bit. It can be a little scary, like trying to find somebody new after being working with somebody for 4 years. But I've, on a personal, like, for my next big project, I've been very excited to like work with somebody new, somebody kind of somebody knows what they're doing, and working with other like fellow artists, and like just aiming for that like next big thing that you feel like, yeah, that's me. Like no matter what a day's in with VTubing, I always wanted to make sure like it feels like me a day's in, because if I'm a character and I don't feel like I make sense for that character, then it's not really going to be fun for me. Like I want to make sure like I can play the part of whoever it is. Like my human model, funnily enough, I've said this fun fact to my community before, but like with my human model, he had a bit of a goatee, and in real life I didn't have a goatee. I didn't have that kind of facial hair, and I went, well, I want to play the part, so I actually grew it out, and I've kept it since then just to be able to like play that part. And I was like, I want to be the VTuber that I've got on the screen. Like through and through, I wanted to make sure like that is me. And that model, funnily enough, wasn't me. And I went, okay, I'll just grow it. I want to be that guy. So my human character is very much based off of me. Unfortunately, I don't have green and blue hair, because as fun as that would be, my job would not allow it. But hey, it's just fun to feel like you can represent your model and be like, yeah, that's you. Like it makes sense. Like when I look at you two and your models, and like I hear the voices and how you act and what you talk about, like it makes sense to me. You guys play your part, like your characters perfectly. Like that's you.
But yeah, that's also something like very important when it comes to like rebranding, is making sure that you could fit your character.
I've done
that
so
you're-
much. Like, remember we were talking about research earlier? Not to cut you off, but like, you remember we were talking about research? I've been looking up like videos on like rebranding, when to do it, when not to do it, what not to do, yada yada.
Oh
like
my-
I've
I
looked
need
into so
to-
many.
I need to do that research because I've never really done that.
Because I looked into it, and it's like, I've heard stories of people who are like, I rebranded, like, there's this one person I know who's like very successful now, but they had to rebrand like 4 times before they hit that dart on the wall. Like, congratulations, fantastic. But that had to have been like the biggest pain in the neck to do that, like a 4th time, only for it to finally work. That's a pain. You want to make sure, again, when you swing hard and you hit that ball.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have to, get struck out and sit down and come back up the bat. Like, man, that's annoying. Like, you want to hit that out of the park. Baseball,
Yeah,
apple pie,
that's something
hot
that
dogs.
I'm worried about. I'm stressing, which I don't need to be stressing right now because I'm not.
Well, stressing
so
just kind of
that-
shows how much you care about, like how much you take it seriously. So it's technically you're showing that how committed you are to it. People who don't stress, maybe not. Maybe they don't take it as seriously. I mean, I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I didn't stress. I stress about stuff too. That's fair. I almost said I don't think I stress. I'm a very positive fellow. Like, no, I'm always sweating when I commission people.
No. Listen, I stress about everything. Even if I've like just a very off stream, I'm like, oh god, I failed. I failed. What have I done? And then like the next stream rolls around and everything's fine. I'm like, I dodged a bullet.
I posted my schedule for this week like a couple days ago, and I didn't realize till after I had just posted it I found one error, and then like a couple hours later found another error, and I'm like, it's Jover.
It's
Jover. Who cares?
Remember me.
I
My
said,
career is done for.
Oh, we're gonna watch the Pokemon Presents on Wednesday. No, it was Tuesday. Oh, we're gonna stream Donkey Kong Bonanza on Saturday. Oh wait, actually it's gonna be Sunday. You know what? Forget about everything I just said, Chad. I'm a liar.
I've lied to you. I apologize.
I'm a fake and a fraud.
I formally apologize.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm the two-faced VTuber. You're gonna to lock me up.
Oh no.
Put me in a hamster cage. Sam, you've got a wheel. I can borrow that for a little bit, right?
Huh? Listen, I don't have no wheel. If I did, I would let you have it because I don't want it.
You don't want your hamster wheel? I don't know. I've heard this hamster wheel in passing.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. When's the garage sale, Sam?
The garage sale. Okay, so this is completely off topic. I'll keep it.
Sure.
But we were going through all of my stuff. Now I'm able to unpack. I found my very old cage that I kept my hedgehog in with like wheel and everything.
Oh, you had a hedgehog.
I did. I had a hedgehog in high school, and we had like a giant cage for it, so I had like lots of space to run around. But yeah, I found it. I have that. Do you want it? I don't want it.
I'll take that cage then.
It's like sitting in storage. You could have it.
I was thinking about putting my ego in it, but I hope the cage is big enough.
I'm bestie for that. I don't know.
No, okay. I might look
I would have to measure it.
I suppose my dog's old crate could be useful.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be bigger than this cage.
Fair. That's fair.
Yep.
But yeah, that was the I think it was the last question I had on this board. Did we want to talk about any other subjects or anything within relevancy? I don't know if we still want to talk about anything else, but
oh, we can. We
can
talk about what's going on right now.
So I am admittedly getting a bit tired, but
no.
I can talk a little bit.
So we can always go over it very quickly because, in all honesty, I was expecting to end my stream around this time anyways. So if there's anything we want to talk about, like briefly and whatnot, I know I picked a heck of a time to ask what's it like to be a VTuber as a podcast episode topic because man, oh man,
planned all of this.
I absolutely planned.
You knew what was happening.
I absolutely planned. Safe to say, Chad, not everything in the VTuber spectrum is always going to be perfect, and there are going to be issues. Unfortunately, some people drop the ball harder than others.
Yeah.
It's been a theme for this year, hasn't it?
It sure has. It
really has.
You half the time it's when I'm at work, but sometimes it'll be right before I go to bed or when I wake up and I go check my phone. I'm just like, why is this trending? And it's a whole it's just so much to unpack. It's like I don't know if anyone has anything they want to say, but yeah, it's been an interesting couple of days recently.
I'm still processing because there's still information coming out. And
yeah.
While I am a reporter IRL, I'm not a news channel, and I will sooner put a nail in my foot before I turn into one.
Yeah, we don't want to spread any information that changes suddenly because that can change really quickly.
I don't think anything necessarily that's out is going to change.
I don't think so
more
either,
still a case
no.
More stuff is just going to come out. The only thing I'll say is this. We are in an interesting time when it's funny how VTubing started as we'll bring it full circle. This is what I was talking to Sam about before we literally came in.
Yes.
About does anyone remember Joe Cat? That content creator.
I remember,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Chat, for those who don't know, this is the I Like Girls guy.
Don't we all?
He did a post. Women are amazing.
Absolutely.
He did a post a couple months ago that he got some dumb heat for, where it was like, wow, I'm really happy that VTubing is getting more away from idol culture, which is where it started. Because VTubing, started in Japan, and the major industries that popped up that started in Japan before they started coming stateside with the English departments, they took a lot from idol culture, because everything in Japan is run by idol culture. The voice acting industry, the acting industry, entrepreneur industry, all of it has some semblance of, idol culture. And that's how, hey, if it works, K-pop, if it works, it works. part of the reason why it works is because it's sort of an unknown secret of how exploitative all of it is. And it's everything is controlled, everything is like tight knit in a box. So if there's one thing all of these situations have been terrible, but if there's one thing I hope comes out of this, it's that we're ironically moving away towards a future where companies think that they can have control over everything, and people feel like they need to give up control of everything in order to succeed. Instead of finding people or companies that are about finding and nurturing the creativity that got them that far and helping them go even further. Mm-hmm. We're starting to see that a little bit with some VTuber groups. We're starting to see a little bit with the Sox agency. It's still a bit too soon to tell, like, if this is just going to be a road bump, if we're really seeing the throes of a big change. I hope it's the latter. And as long as we're always sure that, like, put the creator first before the brand, put the creator first before the name, then I think everyone will eventually be okay. Yeah. Everyone rallied behind Iron Mouse. They didn't rally behind VShojo. And this situation is a clear indicator of that.
It's really hard to, like, rally behind VShojo as well. Like if you do, I would love to hear your valid point, because in all honesty,
there's no coming back from any of this.
There is not. No. I was gonna say, like, there is a benefit behind all this. As weird as that sounds, is, you know, there's a big lesson to have been learned here. Many different lessons that we can learn from this. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of this is hard, and, really, we're still processing it all, but we can learn a lot from the situation. Like, there were people I saw who were like, oh my God, that was like my dream to, like, shoot to be a part of that agency, even though it was like a 1 in a million shot. And I feel like, yeah, that's gonna be a hard, bitter pill to swallow for a lot of people out there who, that was their end goal, or like they wanted to get up there. And in all honesty, like, maybe it could be like a nice, to me, it's like, I see that as like a bit of a blessing in disguise. Maybe it can finally direct you in a proper direction, instead of it being, let's shoot for that giant corp as your goal. And like, let's think about ourselves. Let's think about what, what we're about at Days In. Because even though that was the goal for you, sometimes we need a little bit of self-reflection as to, like, what we could truly reach for, and not, again, when you see something
cold
like
water splashing on
exactly, like, now you can look at this situation and go, oh, like, some people might even see it as like, oh, I'm glad that, even though this sucks, I'm glad that we know about this, because now I don't have to shoot for a goal that was going to be a waste of my time anyways. Because, heaven forbid, I forgot who it was, but somebody had joined the company, like VShojo, like, not that long ago. Like, they just joined on, and this went down. It's
Monarch,
like, what? Yeah, like, it was, I believe that was it. And it was such a, the timing on that's so bad. Like, you can only hope that, like, everything will be okay for them, or, for anybody a part of that right now who hasn't, like, dipped out. And even those who have dipped out, in all honesty, that's a big thing to plaster after. Like, good for people who are, like, stepping aside and going, yo, this ain't it. But, doing so, it's a big deal. I mean, there are people out there who can, like, who might be just furious that you've made this decision. They have a huge crowd behind them. But in all honesty, like, it seems like most people are rallying behind those who've made that decision. I know I'm a firm supporter, and anybody who's, like, dipped out of it. Like, if you dipped out of it, good, get out of there, do what you gotta do for you. Be the VTuber you want to be on your own accord. Don't have this, like, hand on your shoulder that feels cold anymore. Get rid of that. Get that out of here. Be free. Mm-hmm. Be free.
Because when I really started to try and push to be, like, a full-time content creator when it came to VTubing, it's like I would have moments of, like, looking up to, like, VShojo, like, it'd be kind of cool to be a part of an agency, because that would help me get to, like, my goal of being able to, like, pay my bills with content that I make. And it kind of came to the point where it's like I felt like for a time that was the only way that I was going to be able to do that. Now I don't really believe that anymore. I don't think I need someone.
Not necessary, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't need a company. But just, like, before I joined, like before I did my stream today, I was watching a clip from. I'll kind of keep it vague. I was, and apparently like a few years, V Shoujo kind of went over to Shy Lily and was trying to get her to sign a contract, and she was sharing just pieces of the contract, and she was pointing out like all these red flags that basically fuck her, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't realize that. And so I'm happy that I never got the opportunity to be swept away and possibly like be stuck within a contract where basically they were just using me for money, for a cash grab and all this kind of stuff. So that's why I'm kind of like scared of like agencies just kind of own my own brand. But it's yeah.
I've been locked in on a contract with YouTube when I had my partnership for the first time. I went with a different partnership, and you know, I didn't necessarily grow with them, but I was able to like, you know, have the money from it and whatnot. Like they paid me out and whatnot, and it was not very good. Unfortunately, it was a company that got bought by Disney, and Disney, you know, say less. But getting paid by them was a pain. And I remember there was this other partnership that I'm now with, I'm still been with, that wanted to bring me in. Like, we see you as, you know, you're a great content creator, we'd like to bring you in. So I was like, okay, I had to like go to my previous partnership and go, hey, I want to like get out of the contract, I'm done, you know, I'm going to be moving on, you know. And they told me, okay, you can, but your contract, you renewed for your contract not too long ago, you're going to have to wait 6 months. I had to wait 6 months. And I was like, really? I was like, I can't give them an answer of like, I want to do it now. And I was like, crap, I didn't really read the contract. You know, I was very young at the time. So I learned at that point, you know, make sure you read your contracts and what you sign up for and whatnot.
Yes.
But then I waited the 6 months out, properly asked, got out, and then moved on and learned my lesson there. And I've been with them since then. But yeah, no, yeah, like, please you read your contracts, because that was a simple contract compared to, gosh, I mean, the VTuber agency stuff, like that's gotta be a whole nother ballpark.
Yeah, I was very naive to like a lot of this, and like, yeah, shit's hitting the fan, but I'm kind of sitting back and trying to learn from what's going on to better educate myself going forward. You know, if I ever do end up with like another, like if I ever end up like with like an agency, if I ever want to go that route, to be more prepared to advocate for myself. But I don't really plan to go that route. But like, you never know. So I'm definitely trying to take like a.
I don't blame people for like going for it though, because in all honesty, it's like you said, you know, if people can make a living off of it, and you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, like if I'll do what I gotta do in life, but like the dream would be awesome if you could like, oh, I could like just stay home, do the VTubing thing, like that could be my thing to like live off of and be happy and just constantly grow. I would love that. You know, you just gotta be careful what you sign up for, and do your best, you know.
Yeah, you gotta be very careful of what you sign up for, and I didn't even realize that, because I feel so dumb when it comes to like business stuff, so I'm definitely taking that as like a learning experience and just like, being more aware.
I'm very careful with like who I like collab with and all that kind of stuff, because you know, there are people out there who like, if they collab with you on a regular and they end up dropping the ball, you know, people like take into consideration like, oh, you're close to them, how do you feel, what's going on, you know, you're involved at that point.
Yeah, that's scary.
You just got to be very careful with that, because I've had a few close calls like that before, and it's, you know, again, it's, you know, you think you know somebody and you don't, and that happens. So that's just life. I think that happens in life. We've seen time and time again people drop the ball, and you're like, oh, you thought things were fine until they weren't. So, you know, just tread cautiously, and you know, again, be careful what you sign up for, but trust your instincts, and you know, go with what you feel is right. And if something does go down, you know, take the learning lesson there and run with it. Don't just repeat the same mistakes. People who repeat the same mistakes are destined just to keep tumbling like that. I don't want to tumble for the rest of my life. I want to, you know, oh, that sucked, let's learn from this so we don't ever have that repeat again. And if it happens again, you know what, that does happen, but you know, at least you're trying to look into that not happening again, as opposed to somebody who just, you know, how many times have you seen the character A go, oh, this is my new partner, or boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, and they keep dating the same type of person each time. We're just like, do you not learn your lesson? They're so bad. You just see somebody like making the same mistake like a million times over. And it's like, you got to find somebody who's good, good for you. And I don't know. It's just, you got to be careful. You got to be careful out there.
Yeah, I am still learning. So
and it's fine. We're at an age, like, I don't know everyone's age per se, but like we're at a point in our lives where, like, I mean, you're gonna be learning up until the very last days of your life, and I think that's a good thing. You have to be willing to learn. If you don't want to learn, or if you don't want to like be accepting of change or anything like that, then you're gonna be kind of a stuck character. I've seen a lot of people in my life who are like very stuck looking characters, and they end up being kind of bitter because they refuse to adapt to anything else and learn. And I don't want to be that kind of person personally. I'm always willing to try something new and learn, and but even failing isn't really failing. Failing is quitting, giving up, and not trying at all. Like that's when you really have failed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say quitting, but like, if you were to like go like,
Yeah.
like if you retire, for example, like that's different. But like if you were to just like flat out go, I quit, I'm not getting anything out of this, like that would technically kind of be considered failing.
Yeah.
But yeah. But we can only really hope for a really strong VTuber future, nothing will ever go perfect, but that's okay. Again, we've taken the lessons at hand here, and we're gonna run with them as best as possible. And I personally, I can't speak for everyone else, but I personally want to, continue to learn, grow, and become better for it, so I can pass on that knowledge to people who are like maybe getting into it, or have an interest in it and whatnot. I want to be the good example. That's something I strive for as a VTuber. I want to be the one who like innovates and changes the game a little bit. So I don't know what like you guys' end goal is. Again, partnerships and money and being able to live off that, or have it be your living. Like, of course, I would love that. But I think first and foremost, I want people to have a good time, and I want to I want to change the VTuber scope, even if just a little bit, even if it's just like, I've done a few things that some people have like ran off with and done better than me, but I was kind of like the start. Even if I wasn't like the best, I was the start. And I take great pride in the fact that I was able to like push people along to get that innovation going, and they can inspire other people. That's the gift that keeps on giving. And I think that's one of my favorite parts about this whole thing. So, but that's all I have to say. If you guys,
I had a dream. I had a dream last night after like catching up on like the whole VTuber thing. Can I talk about my dream real fast?
Sure.
So it's related. It's related.
Okay.
But I had a dream last night that like I would sponsor a streamer one at a time, and what I would do is I would take a streamer I would make them a personal model. I would do art for them. I would share the knowledge that I had, and basically I would do my best to help them grow. And then once they got to a certain point, I'd be like, be free, and then I would just take another streamer. And that was such an interesting dream. And I'm like, that'd be so cool to do, like to sponsor a streamer one at a time, and being able to kind of try and help someone, actually like properly, like just be a successful like VTuber, whatever that means to you, to be like successful. I think that would be fun to do, but that's like a lot of time, effort, and money, and I'm not there yet. But that'd be cool if I ever got to that point, to be able to help sponsor like a VTuber. That would be really cool. I think that would be like a very huge like accomplishment. That's to be able to do that at least once to like one person. That would be so cool.
That'd be super cool. This is gonna sound out of left field, but I would love to have like at some point, if I was successful enough, but I've gone, wherever I've gone, and I have all this experience, I would love to have like a young protege where I'm just like, let me be your manager this time. Let me be the one that teach you this and that, and like put you in the right direction. That'd be fun.
That'd be so fun. But yeah, that was my dream. I had to share because it's somewhat related.
Omega, listen. I know where you're going with this. Get out of here. I'm kidding.
Damn, you're talking to manager senpai like that?
I'll be your into your manager senpai. God dang it.
Oh God. Never mind, you could have him.
I knew where he was going with that. I knew where he was going.
You could have him.
When I read the words "all right," it's not like I'm like, all right, I know where you're going with this.
Never mind. I'm good. Frick you too, bestie. Oh, manager senpai. I gotta be the true protagonist. I need you to go stub your toe so I can go save you.
I stubbed my toe and reincarnated as Blank. Yeah, if we
joke, that's probably going to exist soon.
Probably.
Oh no!
Like that they're cooked.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, if we have any other closing statements and whatnot, we can always wrap things up.
We can.
If we don't have anything else to say, we can always say, like, we can plug in whatever we're going to be doing for the rest of the week, or what streams we got upcoming, anything like that, and then we can always close out.
Not really. I'm gonna be working on the raid train, which is coming up here pretty soon. I'll be celebrating. This is gonna be the first time I won't be doing a subathon, but I'm gonna be celebrating my 7-year anniversary of streaming on August.
Let's go.
And then we're gonna be redoing. We're coming back for year 2 of 31 Nights of Fright, but it's gonna be handled differently.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, hopefully, knock on wood, I'll be able to do that in October.
Knock on wood. We don't need a repeat of last year. I know I was slightly affected by it, and I hated it.
Bestie, I was in such a negative place. I'll just leave it at that. I remember. Bestie, I was going down that rabbit hole. Oh, I was in a terrible place.
For what it's worth, and I don't know if it'd make you feel any better, but I felt for you, and I felt bad probably every single day.
Thank you, because I was in such a bad place,
like,
and
I know what it's like. I could feel what it's like to be in those shoes, and like I would have been so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like the whole world was moving on without me, and I'm like,
yeah,
wait.
You just see people walking.
Go back.
Frozen. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was it for me.
So that's what you got going on, Bolts. You got anything coming up in the future, stream-wise? Anything this week, next week?
Well, it's good to get back in a stream because I sort of had to take like a week, 2 weeks off due to like family and tech issues and everything. So hopefully we don't run into any more of those issues for the rest of this week. And I do have stuff planned for September, so it's just a matter of trying to do my best to min-max everything I have now until the next major event.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Aw, yeah.
All I can do.
I know for me, I don't think I got too much more going on this week other than tomorrow. Tomorrow's my first day off in what was 7 days, and I don't remember exactly when I might be, because I had an idea for tomorrow when I was going to start streaming, but again I messed up my schedule, so I don't know when I'm starting it tomorrow, but I plan on doing like a fairly big stream tomorrow. And yeah, kind of just, you know, putting in that grind again, having fun. And then I think for the rest of the week, not too much more. I'm probably going to focus on like my schedule for next week. And then for what it's worth, in my Discord, we're going to be watching, if anyone calls it, 2005's Hoodwinked on Thursday. So that'll be a fun little time. That sure is a movie. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything too special until maybe like August. I'm aiming for a subathon. And I'm a part of a festival that my partner hosts. I'm going to be doing Sonic Rivals 1 and 2 on their end. That'll be fun. There's like a tournament coming up for that, Sonic Riders. That'll be a whole lot of fun. And yeah, other than that, that's really about it. Everything else just like my normal streams and whatnot. So yeah. But yeah, that'll probably conclude the stream today and whatnot in this podcast episode. But I wanna say very quickly, thank you Bolts and thank you Sam for joining me today. This was an absolute pleasure. I appreciate you guys taking the time to be a part of this. And it went on a little longer than I thought it would, so I'm so sorry about that. But I appreciate you guys regardless. I know it's kind of late.
Okay, there was a lot to talk about.
There was a lot to talk about, and honestly, there's never enough words to really put out there what it's like to be a VTuber, but we got to say a lot. We got to probably learn a lot tonight from each other, and just, you know, even if you didn't learn anything, you know, just being able to put it out there on the table and just kind of see each other's experiences, to me it's enlightening. So I appreciate you guys answering the questions as best as you could, and I plan on doing this again someday. I don't know if you guys would ever want to do another podcast episode. It's been interesting trying to come up with like ideas for episodes. So if anybody's like, yo, I got a subject, if you did this subject, I'd be a part of that, you know, feel free to hit me up. But even outside the podcast, I would love to just play games or do something else again someday. Sam, we do stuff every now and then. Bolts, I don't know if you're ever down for anything, but if you ever have something you want to do someday, hit me up, or maybe I can hit you up. That'd be fun.
Will do. I'd like that.
Do. That sounds good. That sounds good. I think that should do it for us today. So I'm gonna go ahead and say a couple thank yous, and then we'll go ahead and rate somebody and turn it on over to somebody. So in terms of followers, Desert Ferret 7 and Talon Shadow Magic, thank you guys for the follows today. And in terms of raids, Luna7823, thank you for the raid today. I usually have a lot more things that go off in terms of my thank yous, but I usually turn off a lot of my redeems for the podcast, so that way it's not just a million things being shot at me, you know, my model and redeems popping off and whatnot. So these tend to be a little bit more relaxed, but that's perfectly fine.
That's fair.
Yeah, I want to make sure that when the podcast goes up, it's not just like a bunch of random sound redeems popping off. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to raid somebody. I think, let's see here.
I'm just gonna look too and see who I see live.
That sounds good. There's a good couple of people here I could possibly end up rating, but if you have any suggestions, please feel free to let me know.
Let's see.
Did I just get rated? God dang it.
I was about to say what?
Oh wait, it's Grogda. Grogda came back to streaming today. Hello everybody.
And someone doing Mecha Break.
Mecha Break? Yeah,
but we don't
everybody.
have to.
Grogda, today was your return to streaming, wasn't it? It's been one of those like long time coming things. Welcome on in. We got Tyrannosaurus D. I love your freaking name. That's hilarious. We got Rated PG12. You guys got freaking amazing usernames here. You got Pokemon Cool One. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Yeah, welcome on in, guys. How y'all doing tonight? We were actually getting ready to conclude our podcast episode, but for what it's worth, we do these podcast episodes at least. I'm aiming for at least once a month if I can help it. If not, maybe a little sooner than later. But feel free to follow up on the Twitch channel and yeah, be a part of the fun. Not only do I do podcast stuff, but I usually play like platformers and retro games and all that kind of stuff. It's very much my niche. So if you guys like that kind of thing, feel free to drop a follow and be a part of the cinema. Tyrannosaurus D, thank you so much for the follow. Highly appreciate you. I was gone for a whole year. You were. I remember because you used to raid into the channel every now and then when I heard you were coming back, I was so excited because it's always a little sad to see somebody like not being able to like continue like streaming and VTubing and all that kind of such. And when I heard you were returning and you had like all these new emotes and whatnot, I was so excited for you. I'm so happy. So thank you so very much for returning back to the streaming scene, and I hope you had a good stream. You'll have to let me know what you were streaming today, or like how well your stream went. Rated PG12, thank you so much for the follow. Highly appreciate you. And I'm so sorry for you too. I know I kind of kept you a little bit longer because of the raid, but wanted to welcome in everybody. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. But yeah, we were concluding for the night. However, if you guys want to do me a solid, if you want to do me a big solid, this is something that I'd really appreciate. Let me see here. Told myself I would do this at the end of stream as well. Wow, that really means a lot. We just yelled and chatted for 7 hours. I ate 10 corn dogs. 10 corn dogs. What the heck? That's incredible. I swear to God, Sam, if you say rookie numbers.
Rookie numbers.
Rookie numbers. No, that's incredible.
I could do. Never mind.
Well, everyone in chat land, for those on my end, please, I don't know if a shout out was given out. Let me double check. Omega did. Thank you very much. Everyone in chat land, please go give the lovely Grogda-chan a follow for me. Very fantastic content creator. Very cool model. Very fun new emotes recently. Go check out the emotes as well. We got Grid69. Let's see, what were you saying here? And a stick? And a stick. That's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, I ate the whole corn dog. The whole corn dog.
Damn.
And Scrunch SRE, welcome on in. Hope you're having a lovely day. But yeah, if Chatland, if you want to do a solid for me, we got these two lovely individuals who also are streamers that have a lot of fun. Bolts does like retro gaming and whatnot. Has a very, very cool model. Recently debuted their new model back in May. I'm gonna put out a shout out. Oh wait, hang on, I can't do it that way. Wah, because of the whole shout out run. Whatever the heck I'm looking for here. But yeah, I'm going to put it out there in the chat. There you go. BoltsTheMechanic, please go give my lovely friend Bolts here some follows. Send him a love. Would highly appreciate that. Do me that solid. And I'll go ahead and get Sam a shout out as well. But Sam, lovely friend of mine, please go give her a follow as well. Fantastic content creator, loves playing horror games. If you guys like horror games or horse girl games, you
leave my horses alone.
She is your streamer, but both of them are fantastic content creators, and I've had the pleasure of being able to talk to them today about VTubing. So if you want to do me a solid, if you want to do just the one favor, do that for me. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, and Omega, thank you so much for moderating and putting out announcements and shoutouts. I appreciate it. Oh, Grogda, you know what's up. You know what's up with the horse games. Let's go. Everyone's been on that recently, and it's been really fun to see the races. GK has been doing the game as well on her mobile phone and whatnot, and I don't know why I called it a mobile phone. Who says that? But yeah, she's been playing it lately, and it's a lot of fun to watch. It's kind of like a fun way to enjoy sports in a way. Like I don't know, is it considered a sport? I'm not sure actually. It's a good question. But anyways, yeah, so thank you all very much for watching this, or even listening in on the podcast episode. This is going to be on YouTube, so if anybody out in YouTube land when this VOD is up, if you've listened to this podcast, I highly appreciate you. Consider checking out the Twitch channels. And yeah, it's a sport? Gotcha, okay. I figured it would be a sport. It sounds like it'd be a sport. Heck yeah. But I appreciate everybody who followed the channel, and anybody who followed my good friends here. Highly appreciate you. Thank you for the fun, all three of you. Yeah, no problem at all, Nabdas. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for listening in. And yeah, let's go ahead and get ready to raid. So I forget, who were we raiding again?
Oh, yeah, if we want to raid someone playing at Mecha Break, I hope he's not ending soon, but I put his name in our chat thingy.
I like Kodiak. I feel like I've heard this name. I might have seen this.
Yes,
we'll double check.
He was part of the Hidden Gems.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
he's a train conductor.
I know him. Yes. They'd be fantastic.
Yeah, he's a lovely bean.
They'd be fantastic.
He's one of those hidden gems I wish more people knew about. So
Honestly,
whenever I get the chance, I'm like, please raid this man.
Okay, I checked his stream. It doesn't seem like he's ending. So let's go ahead.
I don't think so. I hope not.
We could absolutely raid him. That sounds incredible. Good night, y'all. Hope to catch an episode soon. Yeah, that sounds good. Absolutely. I'm hoping to plan another one in the near future. I'll definitely have one for August. I don't know what my topic will be, but I plan to we'll bust out a fun topic. And again, thank you all so much for watching Broadcast64, or if you were listening, I appreciate the listeners. And yeah, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and you guys take care. Thank you so much for being here. And
bye, guys.
Thank you too for both being here. Appreciate you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I totally know how to end podcast episodes.
Yippee!
I'm very good at that. Absolutely.
Bestie, I feel that. Don't worry. I love Callie so much.
I actually haven't been able to check one of their streams in a hot minute, but they are a sweet bean. They're very cool. I love their model.
They're very sweet.